everyone. Welcome to the Unpopular Opinion by ATS, starring our lovely, lovely ladies and also me, Mr. B. Stradivari. Just giving you a little bit of heads up that it's going to be a little bit of fuss and fight. We just going to give their opinions. And my name, once again, is Stradivari. And let's go ahead and start with Miss D by saying her name. Go ahead, Miss D.
Hey, y'all. I'm Damali.
And next we have...
I'm Felicia Jones. Hello, peoples.
And I'm Marcella, the sympathizer.
And I'm Michelle. Don't give a fat rat's behind.
Ooh, all right, now let's go ahead and talk a little bit of our unpopulated opinion. We're just giving really our opinion on how we feel about topics that's happening in the world today. And in the world today is kind of a different steam today. I'm going to see whether our steam is going to be fire and desire. My fire and desire today is going to be a little bit on the stimulus check, ladies. And I want to know whether you even got your stimulus check first. And the number one question is for Black people spending on their stimulus check. What is your opinion on the stimulus check, Miss D?
I mean, my opinion is if you got it and you need it, use it. I mean,
did you get your stimulus check?
Some people actually, yeah, I got a stimulus check.
Okay.
Some people need the stimulus check to pay bills, groceries, rent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people got laid off. I know I was laid off last year, so the stimulus definitely helps my family. And it helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Did you spend the whole thing already?
No.
Okay. That's one of the questions I'm going to ask. Okay,
I definitely did not spend. We are holding for turbulence.
Okay. Next up, Miss Felicia.
Well, so yes, we got our stimulus. My husband and I, we're the only two dependents in our home. So we got it. And we're business owners. And so quite naturally, we're using our funds right now just to finalize things that we needed to have done around the school. We just opened up a new daycare. However, I would like to comment about your statement about, Black people getting their stimulus checks and what they're doing with the money. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I just saw an article on the other day where Nike, of course, has had an all-time high of increase in sales since the stimulus checks went out last week. I think that's embarrassing. I think it's degrading. I think it's humanizing. I think it's to be honest with you, y'all already know that they indicated that the African-American people are the ones that purchased the Nike shoes with their stimulus.
We're the number one spenders right now.
Bottom line. And that's what the government wanted to prove. How crazy are we to take this money and do such, right? I think we have to educate our people. I know I'm jumping ahead of the game tonight, but when do we ever educate ourselves on financial security, financial stability, financial pros and cons? Right? You get the stimulus check. It ain't for you to go buy weave. It ain't for you to go buy Nikes. That's just crazy to me. It's just crazy, y'all. And again, I'm gonna go with my age. It's just some things I'm not gonna do at 51 and 52 years of age.
You're not gonna be as frivolous as the younger ones.
No, and maybe the younger generation, Damali, you advocate for them. Maybe the younger generation gets a pass on this one. I don't know, but it's just not. It don't make sense to me. Like it's crazy. You wait on the money, you get the money, then you run to the Nike store.
Okay. Ooh, I'm definitely gonna be asking y'all questions about that. Let's go ahead, Miss Marcel.
I don't think I'll be getting a stimulus check. Let me just leave it there.
Sorry.
That's
if you
it?
don't know what to do. But what I will say is poverty is a state of mind, right? Mm-hmm. And reason that many of us get the stimulus check, and I hope I get one, but I haven't seen it. I'm looking for it. If you've seen it, let me know. Yes, the whole purpose of it for not only businesses but for people is to stabilize. If you find that you have more bills than you have the ability to pay, then you are expected, and then the hope is that you would use that. I think is $1,200. How much is it? How much did they?
1,400. 14.
$1,400.
Okay.
I take issue because I know that the corporate bailout probably was 1.4 billion, $1 trillion or whatever. And
Uh-huh.
as a business owner, I appreciate the fact that, there was money set aside for small businesses, women-owned businesses, what have you. I can tell you with the first stimulus check, I always go with a third, a third, a third. Okay. So you invest a third. Right now, I'm invested in the stock market. I experienced a 35.9% return on my money. I
Uh-huh.
did get the first one, and I hope this is not a problem and I don't have to get it back, but I did get the first one. You may have some bills, so use the other third on some bills. Because
Okay.
your debt to income ratio definitely has a impact on your ability to maneuver. Let's just say that, right? And so after some people get finished investing and they have a third, then if you want to go buy them nice, do it. I always believe in paying yourself, you know. So in my opinion, after you invest a third, right? And what
Uh-huh.
did I say? I said the second one, pay your bills with a third. You should also invest.
Okay. Okay.
And then you won't have to feel guilty for blowing your money. So if the other third, what's a third of $1,400? I don't have my calculator, but I think it's somewhere about maybe what 400, 4 times 3 is 12, $450, maybe $475. Okay, so if you want to go buy them sneakers, then do it. But don't do it at the expense of your rent. And this moratorium isn't going to last forever. I know they extended it, but it's not going to last forever. And you cannot pay your rent now. Let it, continue to flow, and then not be able to pay it later, right? But what about the aftermath? Where you going to be with that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Where
even
you gonna be
if
at? Uh-huh.
yeah, you're not investing, you're not saving or whatever, then when you got your 475 credit score because you don't been evicted and now you can't find a place to stay, where's your money? It's on your feet, right? So I think if you don't understand money, you won't have money. Poverty is a state of mind. That's my opinion on it. We could have Michelle go ahead and give her opinion, because I'm going to pet mute. I'm as Felicia say, I'm done with this right here.
Oh,
I'm
excuse me. Let's go ahead, Miss Michelle. Go ahead and end it off on this stimulus.
Okay, so the government first knew what they was doing. Stimulus means to stimulate, and the main thing that the government wanted to do was stimulate the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I understand they tried to put it to where it was helping the people to catch up on things, but really the economy, the businesses, the industry, all the industries, it took a major hit during COVID. I was very disappointed. I used my stimulus, and I hate to say this, but COVID hit me big with my business,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to. I hadn't had to set up payment arrangements in a while until COVID hit. So I would definitely say that I used my stimulus to pay my credit card bill, but that was to build my credit because I'm in the process of getting my credit together. And they kept telling
Okay.
me, Michelle, get the limit down. So I used the stimulus to pay that off. I don't feel bad about it because my credit score is going to jump, which is the purpose to lead me into bigger and better things. And I ain't ashamed, my phone was off. So I went
Mm-hmm.
and got my phone back on. And then I used it, like Felicia said, for some other business matters and to catch up on a few other bills that I just couldn't continue setting up payment arrangements or asking for an extension because I needed the stuff myself to continue moving forward and surviving. Only thing I did for myself and my sons, I went and got my feet done and my eyes done. That's all I did. I went and this is where I say I was disappointed. I went to the outlet store in Cyprus, the Houston Premium I think it's called Houston Premium Outlet Stores in Cyprus. Guys, when I say that place was jam packed lines outside of the shoe store, the clothing store. I sat there, I was like, why is this place so packed? And then it clicked, stimulus. I said, this don't make no sense. When you got bills that need to be paid, you need to catch up on your rent. Your behind is at this store. So I know some of y'all say, well, what your behind was doing that for? I was there to go buy my son some shoes that they needed because they outgrew them, and I didn't get them no shoes in 2020. So now their foot is pushing out of those. So my sons needed some shoes. That is what I did personally with that stimulus, while everything else went on business matters and catching up on bills. Unfortunately, I wish I could have saved it, but the moves that I made to pay on some business matters, it will put me in a position where I will increase my income so that I can go back to saving, because all that I save is gone.
Okay. Well, the reason why I didn't start with me is because I never got a stimulus check. Somehow I hit the plateau mark of making too much money at one point. Right before the pandemic hit, I had 3 jobs. Things was looking real good for me. I invested in a lot of stock that I didn't even know was going to go towards my taxes. I was kind of more disappointed that it happened at the time it happened. It's like, oh, I needed to be a little bit more, I can say, get broke at this point. I should have really thought about the impact that really impacted my life, because once COVID hit, it was like you lose all 3 jobs and you're put in a vicarious position where you have to really fend for yourself without any government assisting you in any way. So in my known factors, I had to survive a little bit harder than most people because I just didn't even see no signs of a stimulus check. And if one comes, I would probably start screaming and praying outside, but I wouldn't. The number one thing is I never had it in the first place, so there was no need to spend it. The main thing that Marcella said is when she said she had stocks. I mean, during the COVID time, I used my stocks for me. I was so upset that I sold one of my stocks, but that one stock basically has gotten me to at this point right now. I'm back teaching. I'm back doing my security for certain athletes and certain musicians, and now I'm actually having a TV show with you guys. So I think money is going to start to be lucrative, and even my album is on its way coming out. So I'm definitely having a bigger thought on making things better for myself. But I never cared about the stimulus check in the first place. I thought that it would be more advantageous for the government to do something different with the money. Basically, the first thing that I think they should do is think about the student loan debt. I went to school, I went to college, I graduated from these colleges, and it took me a long time to be able to get through my master's degree to try to pay that off. So I think they should think about, the mortgages and student debt and maybe car loans. That's my top 3 to be able to get rid of. Because I paid my car off, so I wasn't. Once the thing stopped, when bills stopped, I was like, okay, my car's paid for. I can care less. This house is this way. I can care less. I have a different mentality of, you better pay that sucker off in case things go wrong. I have when things happen, things awry, I'm already set up, quote unquote, to never be depressed, put myself in a depressful mode that I have to really go out there and fend for myself. So I never thought about this stimulus check because 1, I never got one, and 2, I just know how to maneuver without using this money. So my second phase on asking you this, I seen that Michelle, I'm gonna go to Michelle on this, seen that Michelle talked about some shoes. Now there are some shoes out there that y'all know about Nas X, right? Nas X came out with a brand new shoe called the Satan shoe with the Satan blood. I should check the price on that, but I do know it's above LeBron James shoe price. And to me, if the shoe don't have a speaker to it, if I can't hook them up and play some TV with it, the shoe is pointless. Like a tennis shoe is the most pointless thing in the world for you to over exaggerate and say, I got this shoe. Somebody going to shoot me for the shoe that I'm wearing. It's like is that shoe going to make you any more money for the way it looks? Like if it don't have no speakers to it, once again, I'm not buying no shoe that costs over $400. I'm not buying no shoe that costs over $150 and down. It has to. My mother taught me the value of that shoe doesn't mean anything because you gain size. Like you have a size of a shoe. You either gonna, if you lose weight, that shoe size gonna go get lower, get smaller. You gain weight, that shoe size gonna get bigger. So you're just wasting time on this shoe size, and you're not walking with them anyway because you spent so much money with them. You're only gonna take them out to a show or something. So what do you feel about these shoes, Miss Michelle? Since you went out and bought some shoes, I'm pretty sure it was too. You're not gonna spend your whole stimulus on some Nas X. Satan shoes with human blood in them. You're just not going to do it. So let me hear your understanding about us spending our stimulus money on just shoes alone.
You know, this is what we call unpopular opinion. You're stupid. I'm sorry to say. It's not fair, but technically you stupid. If you're stupid enough to go spend however much these shoes cost for somebody's blood in the shoe, you're stupid. Because you ain't going to keep them long. You're going to outgrow them. That's the purpose of me going to buy some shoes at, where I go? Children's store. That's where I went. The children's store. Okay? To buy some nice, dressy shoes. So when we go to, anywhere. And I got a pair from Old Navy. Those are the type of stores I went to. Okay. I wasn't no name brand. I leave the tennis shoes part to their daddy, but even he's economical when it comes to tennis shoes. He has 2 brands he go by, and they're not expensive as Nike or any who, but they're good brands. I'm just gonna say, and I hate to call you stupid, but unfortunately I have to because there's bigger and. I mean, is the Nikes going to get you out if you're being evicted? Is the Nikes going to get you out if your car's being repoed? Is the Nikes going to get, shoes going to get you out? Let me stop saying Nike. Are the shoes going to get you out if your utilities or your phone is cut off? Oh, and I forgot to say, by the way, I caught up on my car note too, on my stimulus. Are those shoes going to get you out of the important things that I know for a fact? You and millions of other people were behind on their bills. Am I the only one that was not behind? I mean, come on, unless you had a good savings. Because if you ruined your savings in 2020, and we in 2021, how you doing now?
That's true.
How you doing now? I mean, come on. Common sense. If you're single, you shouldn't have went and got no shoes. You should have put it in the savings account, like Miss Felicia said, or an investment account and build on it when you would have gotten money back. As young people, millennials, we're in a day and time now, everything is not guaranteed. So you got to make moves to make sure that you have a nice nest. So for those of you that are listening, stop being stupid, and any extra money that the government want to freely give you, if you don't have to use it on bills or anything else, put it aside or reciprocate it or use it for something that's going to bring back more money to you. That's all I got to say. But for some doggone stupid shoes, that's not going to get you out of trouble. Come on now, have some common sense that your parents raised you up to do. Come on.
Let's go ahead and bounce to Miss Felicia on that one.
Yeah, I think Marcella said it best. We have to educate ourselves on financial means. And this almost kind of goes back to our conversation that we had about the Kirk Franklin thing. There is so much that we as the African American people have not educated ourselves on, nor have we sought the services that are out there that aid and assist us. There's financial services. Let me tell y'all, I take advantage of them. I sit on calls at least once or twice a week with business owners and philanthropists and CEOs that will help you and lead you and guide you on the process of banking, the process of getting business loans, the process of connecting with the banker. We don't understand the importance of educating ourselves from a financial standpoint. And we've been suppressed for so long when it comes to money that when we do get our hands on it, we don't know what to do with it, right? We just run and go do the first thing that comes to mind without thinking about the investments that you and Marcella are talking about. What about putting your money into an investment? What about putting your money into stock? What about putting your money somewhere where it's going to bring a return on your residual? And so we don't know how to do that mostly in the African American community. And until we educate ourselves, it's going to be just this. We're going to get the $1,400 and 2 days later, we're going to be broke. They're going to give us another $1,400 and 2 days later, we're going to be broke. It's a cycle. And until we break the cycle, generational, whatever you want to call it, we have to break the cycles in our lives. And so for me, I educate myself. I don't mind asking questions, finding out, sitting on conference calls, going to meetings, going to sit in. Let me tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, just real quickly, and she recommended that I go to this particular bank and sit down and shake hands with the banker. I did that. Y'all, a door opened for me like you would not believe. Just being able to build that relationship with the banker, now I'm able to get a business loan because why? A, word of mouth, referral, and then B, I went in and sat down. Didn't even have to show him my financials. But I was able to walk in there, build that relationship, and a week later, I called back and he's like, Ms. Jones, come on in, let's just do the paperwork. So it's just those things. We got to learn how to educate ourselves. We have to learn how to invest our monies. And then we have to learn how to build those relationships so that we can take our money and do something with it.
Okay, Miss D, let's go with Miss D.
Yeah, I think that I think the wise choice would be to invest if you are able to. But for some people, it's been such a rough time and maybe the $1,400 for them wasn't going to do much. So they just chose to YOLO, you only live once. Let me just enjoy myself in this moment. Some people chose to do that. I don't agree with that, but if that's the choice you made, that's the choice you made. I definitely think that in our community, we do need to be educated. We do need to invest in ourselves as far as spending time, gaining knowledge on things that will help advance us financially. I know that, even with the layoff, we were able to invest some of our stimulus money last year, so and this year we were going to invest it, but our mentor said, hey, you've invested enough stuff here and there. So just hold that, because with the things you're doing right now, when you're growing, there will be some opposing energy. So for that opposing energy on what you're doing financially right now, hold that money, because you never know what's going to pop up. That was the advice of my.
So you're telling me right now you got one
mentor.
of them shoes. You got one of them shoes in your closet right now. You got some of them shoes.
No, I didn't buy any shoes with it. I did actually buy my kids some spring clothes, but I got it at a 50 to 70% off sale on Children's Place online. So I bought $800 worth of clothes for like $400. So
okay.
So little things like that. But yeah, I definitely think that as a community, we definitely need to take the time to access the information that has been hidden behind platforms like books that we don't usually touch. So we just need to read. And now you can watch and get so many resources from video, like YouTube, different ATS Business University, a lot of different things you can look at to actually, that's affordable, even free, and learn something to do, better with your money and your investments. So yeah.
Okay, last but not least, Miss Marcella, I knew I had to come to you last on this one. Let me hear what you got to say on this right here.
It was a pleasure listening to everybody share their thoughts about the economy and sneakers and stuff, but I just wanted to give a different spin. Sneakers are a status symbol. And, while we were talking, I did a little research. I'm guilty of it. And I found out that it's a $22 billion industry in America, $33 billion on average globally.
Wow.
And then we talk about the Converse is not American made. So a lot of things that started here, we would think that we could take pride in, is nothing but another import. Wow. But I want to get back to my point that it is truly a status symbol. And so many people feel some kind of way during COVID, you know. It's a feel good type of purchase. So Nike know this. Little Nas, because I posted him on my Facebook feed today. His advertisements are saying so much. You know, the sneaker in itself, it's hitting the pain point for a lot of people. If you look at the advertisement, it's very sexually suggestive. Period. Okay. And secondly, if you are a person, you know, that has a belief system, some of the imagery may seem demonic. That's what I've been getting from people. But you know what? Nas is making money. Lil Nas X, it's all about making money, right? Okay. And so since we're in a nation of consumerism, where people buy to fulfill a need, right? It could be an emotional need or whatever.
Okay.
The millennials are wearing sneakers because they want comfort. Sneakers have started being shown on a runway. You know, it originated back in the day with the B-boy and the B-girl. People like Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah?
Who, if you look at some of the videos back in the day, a lot of the hip-hop artists
Run DMC with the
my Adidas.
So
yeah, I made the statement that if you don't understand money, you won't have money, you know, because money will leave your hand and it will always flow to somebody who understands money.
Okay.
I personally, I don't value spending $500, $600, $900 on sneakers. I use sneakers for functionality, not for fashion.
$500, $600, $900?
No, they do that. People do. It's not just not Little Nas X sneakers. Sneakers could get to be pretty expensive. A lot of people will buy sneakers versus a fancy handbag. Sneaker is a lot more than what we're looking at. It's just not, you know, it's just not what I would think not respecting money. It's a status symbol, just like a Birkin bag.
$900, some joints better walk for me. I'm telling
you. Listen, did y'all see
opportunities?
Did y'all see the social media post last year about the pastors and their expensive sneakers? Like they showed, there was a guy who had an Instagram who would show pictures of churches he visited or pastors he saw, and he would show pictures of them in their $500, $1,000 sneakers that they were wearing during their preaching service. And it became a controversial topic because pastors were spending, you know, $1,000, $2,000 on sneakers.
Is it going to help them get close to the Lord, get closer?
But they look good on stage. Excuse me, on the pulpit.
Does it help them stand up straight or get them a little taller? I'm trying to figure that out right there.
They look good.
I like how Marcelo talked about. I just thought I can't go with this $900 sneaker, Marcelo. I can't do it. It's not fair. It's not fair to the world that they are wasting money on a material that only costs $5 to make. And if you flew out there to go, you can go fly to Indonesia and go get you another 5 or 6 pair instead of paying $900 for it. You can go get it in Indonesia for like $4, and it's the Nike or the best Jordan, or they didn't spend that much money to actually ship it out here, and you just paying quadruple over price of what the shoe is. So let me just move on with that subject. I'm totally disappointed in Marcella talking about that.
No, we're assuming they poor though. I mean, are we assuming that everybody buy these sneaks can't afford them?
But are you just trying to look rich? You just trying to look rich. You ain't rich. You ain't got no money.
You ain't rich. I tell you what, they trying to feel rich, some of them, but some of them might actually be rich. I don't know.
The richest man though. Go ahead, Miss Felicia.
So if they're rich, why would they take their stimulus to go buy the shoes?
You got a point there.
I'm analytical.
You would have already got that shoe regardless.
If they're rich, right? I mean, that's the least of my thinkings. If I'm rich, I ain't worried about no Nikes.
Praise you on that one. I believe that's the hit right there. If you just got the stimulus and that's the only thing you counting on, your first thought is, hey, I need to go buy me a shoe. I need to go buy a shoe that look good, so everybody say I look good today. Now I do walk around the malls. I don't really spend money on things in the mall, but I do walk around the mall to see people's reaction of what they're doing in the mall. And if there's a long line of whatever shoe was coming out this month or something, these people are standing at the stores waiting to get these shoes, and I count how much money each person is. I was like, if y'all all put y'all money together as a group of 30 people that's going to spend $500 on these shoes, you guys can do more than take over a business. What? So that's the benefit of me looking at them, but they not looking at me. They looking at trying to put this shoe on. I'm looking at them as a money maker, guys. If we could just put our money together, we can really make some bucks. Okay, that's just my honest to God opinion. Yes, Miss Michelle, on that one. Go ahead.
No, you said how you just walk around the mall or the stores to see what they got for later on. That's
I do adding and subtraction. Like, it's kind of weird how I act sometimes.
Okay.
I just I'll be like, all of y'all right now could start a whole business. And
okay, that's what you meant. Because I thought you said sometimes you just go window shopping. I thought that you would, until I heard the latter part. Because my thing was this: I was window shopping, but that don't mean I was gonna buy. Because I went up into the St. John's store and I saw this one suit for Holy Convocation come July. I told her, let me know when you got the 50% off sale and I come back and get it.
Well, I ain't gonna tell you what I window shop for. I mean, I might window shop for that lady to see what she gonna say. And if she like, oh, you gonna buy my ring or something, I'll be like, red flag. Like, I'm not buying no jewelry. No, I didn't come to the mall for me to spend my money on you. It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Okay,
I'm not even gonna go there.
I didn't say all that for you.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Look, next subject.
All right, so the next subject I would like to definitely discuss to you ladies is going to be a touchy subject. It's more of a touchy subject for me because what are 4 ways that a woman is devalued? What are 4 ways that you consider this woman is a low devalued woman? What are 4 different ways? The reason why I'm going to give you a chance to think about these 4 different ways is because what do you consider? Don't put yourself in this perspective. I want you to look at another woman's side of this perspective. I want you to devalue this woman as, what do you see as her as a low tier woman in this world today? So I know it's a crazy question because I'm looking for love. I mean, I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, and I need to know the value of this woman and what's your upper echelon and what's your lower echelon of a woman. What are 4 ways do you devalue this woman? And I'm gonna ask Miss Felicia first because I see so many veins and stuff going on in this forehead right now. I want to know exactly what's going on in this mind that she like, Mr. B, excuse me. Yes, it's Mr. B, excuse me. I want to know. Give me your hardest punch that you can give me right now.
I'm about to punch you too because that's not okay. I mean, first of all, you're asking us to devalue another sister. And I'm sorry. I get it. I get your question, but I don't. Because for me, and then you said, don't put yourself in that person's shoes. It's as if you want us to categorize another woman, another sister, to define her low life, for the lack of a
now don't act like that because you turned your nose up, but I'm pretty sure if a woman that you see or say something, you have turned your nose up before, and it was a reason why. And I need to know these reasons. Don't try to hold back to devalue.
No.
I'm not trying to degrade the woman. I'm trying to put a woman on a certain scale. Every woman ain't on the same scale.
That's how
your man chose.
I think that's unfair.
That's how your husband chose you because you're different from every other woman.
And that's fine, but I don't want another woman to size me up based upon their opinion of me. And I'm sorry. I mean, when you ask me to devalue another woman, that I don't want to do that. Like, I don't even want to go down that road, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. For me, I think it's just when I sit back and I think about it. Can I give you a prime example? Today, I posted a post and it's a Melon's Mom page, right? So it's mostly us sisters, African Americans, and it never fails. You always got one who's going to always come out and have something to say. Everybody else is ranting and raving about how nice the photo of what it was that I posted was, but this one sister, she just had to, and I get it. That's her opinion. But we got to learn how to value one another. We have to learn how to respect each other. We have to learn how to lift each other up instead of pull each other down. And I think for me, I'm just speaking for me, so I'm gonna let y'all have the floor. But I don't want to devalue my sister. I want to hear her opinion. I want to know what she likes, what she doesn't like. I want to know why she's there at that place where she's at, so that I can help bring her up. But I don't want to pull her down. I don't.
Okay, so I will switch from the woman phase and put it in the man phase.
Now I'll talk all night on that one.
Yeah, I got it. Look at you. See what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I'll take that one. Let me go ahead and say I'll answer the low value for the women, and you do the low value for the men right now. I mean, any of you other ladies can answer that particular question, but Miss Felicia, let me go ahead and put it into the male perspective of it. Then, how do you value?
Listen to my sisters and see what they have to say.
No, because you mess it up for them already by giving them put it into the spectrum of we shouldn't talk about the women, we shouldn't devalue the women, we should never do that. We're not gonna mess our sisters up. You automatically put them in a different perspective of what their mentality was. So we need to put this role towards the man. Then, how do you value your man? How did you put your husband as the number one pickup? The number one draft.
That's valuing him. You want me to value him or devalue him? Because I can devalue that cheating scoundrel that we talked about last night. But if you want me to value the man, I got you. I got you. Again, I think we have to really and truly look at that one from a standpoint of how do we become better, right? How do I make my husband? I appreciate somebody said it last night. I think it was you. What am I bringing to the table to help make my husband better? And what is he bringing to the table to help make me better? If I look at qualifications, there are many attributes that I want in a husband. There are many attributes that I want in my mate that my husband did not bring to the table. I'm going to be totally honest with you. But as we've grown, as we've developed, as we've nurtured each other, as we've loved each other, as we've talked it through, then we've been able to really and truly help value each other. So when you talk about the value of a man, let's start with honesty and integrity, number one, for me. Honesty, integrity. If we can't sit down and have a conversation and be honest with each other, I think Michelle said it last night. If you're tired of the relationship and if you want out, just say you want out. I think that is more respectable coming from a man to his wife, his woman, whomever, than to just step out and cheat. So my first two would be honesty and integrity. And then the other one would be commitment. Like if you can't commit to the relationship, why be in it? That's unethical for me. And then I think the last for me, if I had to put them into 4 categories, is not having himself together as a man. Why come to the table like our friend last night and you don't know what you bring to the table? You want to try your cake and you want to eat it too, and then you want to go taste another piece of cake, and then you want to try 3 or 4 more pieces. Why bring that to the table and inflict that upon somebody else? So my first 4 would be communication, integrity, commitment, and then of course, what was my last one? Just basically being able to know your value, your worth, what you're bringing to the table as a man, right? You don't have to step out. If you're a good man, you're gonna take care of your wife, you're gonna take care of your woman, you're gonna take care of your family, you're gonna take care of your children, and nothing by no means should separate you from that.
Okay. Now let me go ahead and ask Marcella these same questions, because let me start with myself then. Let me bounce to me, since I already got Miss Felicia, with the sisters thing. I really, to really be honest, I do have levels of women that I respect and talk to. There is a demographic level. Like I will only talk to a woman that's professional. Professional meaning she has to be like an upper echelon of her profession, where she does more than own the business. She commands the business that she's in. I usually talk to people that are totally into them and totally not thinking about me, and I gotta kind of like jump my way in or force my way in to be able to even get with them. Also, I have a clothes value. Like, you might be voluptuous in one way or voluptuous in another way, but you're not trying to let everybody else know what you have. So that actually brings you to a higher status. And then when we go out or something like that, or what does I call it? Sundresses. When I'm hanging out with the Omegas, sundresses and stogies and stuff. Then you bring out your best look. Then that puts you on another echelon. But the last but not least is when you open your mouth. The first thing I do value is the first thing you say to me and how you say it and what type of tone are you coming at me with. Where you at with it when it comes to your conversation. Your conversation means everything to me, because as soon as you open up your mouth, if you like, automatically you get a zero. You start out, you sucking your teeth, you smacking, you automatically at a zero, and then you're gonna have to try to work your way out of that zero. But your conversation is really, it values a lot to me, depending on what you say to me or how you say it or how you talking to other people. You might not get a conversation from me. If I'm listening to you from afar and I hear what you're saying from afar, it might not get a conversation from me. But if you have something to bring to the table, I'm automatically ready to jump into the conversation. So what do you mean by that? That would give me my avenue to be able to notice you and who you are. So since I'm saying it like that, that's how I'm putting it, Miss Felicia. Let me jump to Miss Marcella, because she is the only single lady on this aspect. No, I'm saying I'm single, you single, so I'm gonna jump to the single lady first. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else but that. Jeez.
All right, so I can talk about how we're devalued, because I've been devalued.
Okay.
And so women, we are objectified and highly sexualized in media. The twerking. Okay. You can have a voluptuous body, it's a thing of beauty. But when it's exploited, that's a form of devaluation. Okay? We have what's called the Jezebel Prototype. It's been pushed on us as women, and especially as Black women. When me as a woman who have a lot more to offer than what's between my legs, okay? I have a lot to offer with, between my ears and everything. It's a lot here. What's in my heart. But sometimes, because, women, we're seen as apertures for men, meaning that they want us to be the type of feminine energy that they perceive us to be. Sometimes that could be over feminization, and over feminization is having to be the sex symbol and everything. So sex is definitely a way that we're divided. Okay. The second way we're divided is historically we've been the property of men. And I am no way.
What you mean by that?
Well, if you look back in the 50s and everything, and the fact that, it took us a long time, not only as Black people to be able to vote, but also as women, we were, and in still some countries, we are the property of our men. Our only function in life is to have children and do whatever they say. That's the devaluation, because we're never able to fully actualize. And, I'm happy to be a woman in the U.S. Because I know I get a lot of latitude and freedoms that other women may not get. So that's another way.
Okay.
I'd say the third way is equity in pay.
Okay.
On average, women, I looked at a statistic many years ago, we made 60 cents. Black women made 60 cents to every $1 that a white man made. And surprisingly, Black men made even less. So it's a social construct where that goes, because money is considered power. And on top of that, a man's worth is it's leveled, and it's built on the foundation of being able to support. And so when you don't have that economic ability as a woman, when a woman is hurting financially. Children are hurting financially. Okay, so when I say that back in the day, and even still today, when we were your property and we couldn't even own property, it was if you was a single woman, you couldn't buy a house. You had to be a married woman. I was reading the book. I forgot the name of it, but if you was a married woman, you could no longer work. I mean, there actually were laws in place that kept us where we were. And I guess in some instances, depending on the type of marriage and household you're living in, it's probably still some women like that. When I mentioned sex earlier, they called it sexual trafficking. I'm messing it up, but it's prostitution. That's a way that power is placed above us, over us, and we're oppressed in that manner because there's some women that don't have a choice. Now, I think I named 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
As it is within, it is without, right? And so I think that what Felicia spoke of, her not wanting to, as a woman, not wanting to disrespect other women and bring them down. If you're reflecting something negative from within yourself as a woman, then you will reflect that outwards and discredit and seek to disrespect and destroy another woman. So you mentioned, hey, she got to know how to talk right. She got to have the right type of swag goo and whatnot. And you like, oh, she got to dress a certain way. But when
No, I didn't say that. I said it depends on how she dressed.
Mm-hmm. Well, clean it up now, but she got to dress a certain way.
I'm not cleaning it up. I said if she has a voluptuous body and she doesn't show none of that, it's just on a different level than the ones that are I'm able to see everything before I even touch it. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Mm-hmm. We got to be that's another way. We got to be so much for everybody, as a mother, a wife, a professional, a businesswoman. We got to be so much for everybody. And even as young girls, we're conditioned and groomed to present the way we are. And so it goes, even as a chocolate girl, let's talk about the standard of beauty. Felicia hit on it when she's in the melanated group talking about the beauty of Black women. I can remember when I was younger, there wasn't any Black women on the cover of magazines. So the main way that women, especially, oh gosh, okay. So listen, I'm passionate about this, right? I'm gonna go into 2 things and then I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go into gender terrorism, but what I'm going to say is, I just want to hit the gender terrorism.
Go ahead.
As Black women, our standard of beauty is ridiculed oftentimes. That's the point I was making before that. And everybody wants it. Everybody wants full voluptuous lips. Everybody wants them curves we have. And even our hair. There's so much that we could do with our hair.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't do it. It's revolting. It's treated as something that's revolting. And you can see the pressure. We talk about young girls to wear weaves and do so much just to be able to breathe and feel beautiful, because the media and other entities in this world has suppressed the beauty of the Black Madonna.
Okay. So praise you on that one.
The last thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that gender terrorism. And I'm gonna say some things that's gonna be unpopular.
Okay.
People have to say that there's certain things because they feel that way, but there's a such thing as an XY, XX, and XXY chromosome. Okay, and so I'm gonna leave it at that, and you could figure out what that means. But as a Black woman, we're always taught to be so strong at the expense of our well-being, and we have heart attacks at the same rate that white men have them. White men have heart attacks, but the heart attack corridor is 30. What is it? 45 to 55. We dropping dead too.
Okay.
From the stress. And so the point I'm making is gender terrorism, where Black women and little girls are not seen as women because the idea of femininity is white. They talk about that in The Birth of a Nation, where they romanticize slavery. And the image that's always given out there is counter to us. That's the highest level of disrespect, especially when we raise nations. you know. And so I get a little emotional about it. You know, I'm very careful not to call myself a feminist because Black women, we've been alongside Black men in the halls of slave ships. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Chased down as we saw freedom. So we don't get a chance to be women. We always have to be strong. I mean, we work. We always have worked for the most part. And so one of the highest form of disrespect is my femininity being questioned when I'm demanding respect. And also my standard of beauty being downplayed only for people that are trying to emulate it.
Okay.
And I speak for Sarah Barton.
Okay. Okay. She's like, and seen and cut on that one. Okay. Let me hear before I go to Miss D for the younger age on that one. Let's go with Miss Michelle on that, and then Miss Felicia. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still gonna go back with you because I asked the question. I want to see what your tonality and see what your mentality is after we've heard from the other ladies on that one. Don't shake your head on that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Yes,
do
sir. I'm
that.
sorry.
Let me go with Miss Michelle on this one. Go ahead, Miss Michelle.
Women are our own worst enemies.
Okay.
I understand what Miss Felicia was saying, but there are a lot of women out there that do devalue themselves just in their appearance, and the way they talk. Like Mr. B was saying, how men actually, and I had to learn this the hard way. I really did. Men actually see how you carry yourself to determine whether or not they want to cross that line just to even waste their breath on you and speak to you.
Amen. Okay.
So when I go to, I'm a big girl. I'm thick, nice and beautiful. Even though I don't like myself sometimes. Like I need to lose 60 pounds. But one thing you will say about Michelle Black, you're not going to catch her in the store showing her cleavage all the way down to here, showing her butt cheeks, and showing the side rolls or the gut rolls that she have right now. She's going to wear outfits that outline her shape but do not show her shape. You're not going to catch me in the store with a bonnet, head rag on, because people, we all stereotype each other. Even our own race stereotype our own race. As soon as we see somebody in the store with a hair bonnet, we say, oh, she hood. When we see you smacking and talking all like, girl, and oh, she hood. We do devalue ourselves, but like I said yesterday, it's all about how we were raised. Even though I don't want to devalue the ladies, I at least want to show them, hey, there's a way you could carry yourself. There's a way you can talk, educate yourself. Men like smart women. They want a woman that can keep a conversation and be interested in the things that they talk about. Men like to be intrigued. So pick yourself up, you know. I got a headband wig on. I ain't ashamed to say it because I got cornrows on me because I'm trying to.
You have to tell them that.
No, but I'm making a point. You don't see me with a wig cap on or showing my cornrows. I have an appearance to or an impression or just this is just who I am. I'm gonna have my earrings on. I'm gonna have my nice hair on, whether it's mine or somebody else's. I'm gonna be dressed nice. But a lot of women devalue themselves first in personality, then they be like, oh, I can't find a man. Well, then shoot, first look at the way you're dressing. I'm gonna say women devalue themselves in the way they dress. Whether it's tight, I be trying to figure out how y'all breathing. Or they showing certain, aspects. If you're a thick girl, it's good to show your thickness, but don't show the rolls. That's nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. I'm serious. I don't want to see your shape. If you got some nice round thighs and you on a photo shoot and you got a nice slit, that's fine. But make sure they smooth. No dents.
Make sure they smooth.
Yeah, make sure they smooth. No dents. You know? I mean, we devalue ourselves in a lot of ways. But we do need to up it up. Now, I don't know what the purpose of asking this question of how women devalue themselves, but I will say if you do that stuff, don't do it no more so you won't be devalued by other people's thinking of you.
Okay.
Because people
Perception
won't.
is key.
There, thank you. That's the key word. Don't devalue yourself to allow somebody to perceive something different of you or what you're not really are. Your devalue is covering who you really are. And if you're using that to hide who you really are, that's on you. But you don't have to do that. So you could go many ways with that. You really can. It's sad, but it's true. If I'm wrong, if I'm wrong.
I saw Miss Felicia hand, but before I go to Miss Felicia, I want you to keep those thoughts over there, Miss Felicia, because I seriously want to hear what you guys say to end it up. Don't I want to hear what you got.
I did not raise my hand. I didn't.
I still want to hear what you guys say at the end. Go ahead, Miss D. Let me hear what you got to say on this one.
I'm a big believer in do you over there. Right? You know, I can't say that a woman has less value because she has a different behavior than I just know that we just are on a different vibration, right? If you walk around looking like Cardi B, I can't say that you're less valuable than me. If you're comfortable and that's how you want to present yourself to the world, and you are 1,000% comfortable presenting yourself to the world like that, I don't have a problem with it. Do you. Now, as for me and choosing a mate, you know, from a standpoint of, you know, what's my upper echelon, my lower echelon, it's not an upper lower. It's what I'm willing to do and not do. I can't do somebody who's gonna be aggressive and abrasive. I can't do somebody who is gonna be in line waiting for Jordans, because that's the mindset I can't work with, right? I can't work with the mindset that if you only have cash cards and have no banking account, we're not on the same mindset, right? I'm not saying you have less value than me, but we're just not in the same place. You're doing a totally different thing, you're in a totally different path, but that doesn't say that you're less valuable than me. It's just that I'm not willing to go down that path with you. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
So, and I just think that, you know, to say that a woman devalues herself because she chooses to dress a certain way, but maybe that's what she thinks is hot, and that's what she thinks that's what she really thinks that value looks like, because that is her own opinion in her own value system. She may think that some hot pink shorts are the best damn invention ever, and let her wear those hot pink shorts with the butt impression in them, and let her wear them and be happy with them. Let her do it.
It's two women on here that's okay with how the women are.
I mean, is Cardi B, does she have less value than any other celebrity just because she raps about WAP and shakes her ass? I mean, she's still a human. She still entertains people and people still love her music. So
now before y'all go on that, I'm gonna let Miss Felicia say what she gotta say, if she got anything to say. But I have so many different ties to what you guys are saying. It's a shame. So go ahead, Miss Felicia, before I even have anything to say. I know y'all gonna say something to me about this, but go ahead.
No. I agree with Michelle. Like, I don't really know the meaning for this question, but I get it. Like, I get it because you know, for you, a single man on a quest, looking for love, looking for the right woman, looking for, you know, the right
looking
person.
for love in all the wrong places.
Well, we're gonna help you before this is all over. You're gonna find her in the right place. Anywho, moving right along. I really think that
I second that, Miss Felicia. I'm sorry. I
second
that. We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you, brother.
A to the man and to the woman. Anywho, y'all, I struggle with this one because, Marcella, you said it. You've been devalued. We all have as women. And that's not a good feeling. Like, I don't know when this green light went off in my head, but it went off. Like, I get life today. Life is what we make it. Life is how we view things, how we view people, how we view situations, each other. And I'm just a stippler for helping people today. I can't help everybody. I get this. I understand that. But I'm just I'm on another vibration or another wavelength that I choose to see the good in people today. I don't want to just focus on, Michelle got that wig on her head. I don't shake it, girl. Don't shake it, girl.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to sit here for the whole night and be like, girl, that wig on that girl head is crooked.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all feel me? Y'all feel me, sisters? I want to be able to, I feel good sitting here saying, I would have never even known it was a wig if you hadn't told nobody. I feel good.
That's true. Nobody would have never known.
Right. And I feel good saying, man, it looks good on you. You are a beautiful queen. You know, that's my thoughts of a woman. Yeah, girl, I'm trying to tell you, like, it looks good on you. I told Marcella a minute ago, girl, I finally figured it out. You remind me of Queen Latifah. We have to learn to admonish each other. As women, we have to learn how to pull each other up. We have to learn how to support each other and have each other's back and appreciate each other, lift each other up to the point that, hey, girl, I got your back. Wig or no wig, you still my sister. You still look good. And that's just me. So my method ain't gonna change on this one. I'm sorry. My conversation.
So I appreciate it, Miss Felicia. I appreciate it. But let me say this. I only mentioned it because
y'all business.
I only mentioned it because I was trying to make my point. But my hair is really like this. I just don't like doing my hair all the time. So I just roll it up and just, put some on it.
And look, I ran home tonight and washed mine and pulled it up. I was like, forget it. Look, I got too much going on.
Now, see, I didn't want to go there with you ladies because I already know I'm able to press buttons. I know this, especially with I am because there's so many different values of how I value women, and you could just chip away at me in any point in shape, form, and fashion because I really haven't found the one that really is true for me. But there are so many different aspects of make me say stop. This is not it. But one thing I do say that will close the door for me is the eyelash thing. Like if her eyelashes is past her daggone nose, like, come on, man. Who's gonna want to deal with that? Like that just makes me feel as though she fake already. Like if she snatch them off, let me see what you look like with them off first before you give me this long diameter of lashes. That's not you. That's not who you are. Why are you even trying to come at me like that? How can you even talk to me? If I'm looking at you in your eyes, I'm not looking at your eyes. I'm looking at how long your lashes are. I'm just being honest. Like, look at these lashes. Look at this girl. What's going on with her? Like,
that's drag queen culture, though. That's a drag queen culture. That's an example of a man telling a woman what's beautiful. We get that from drag queen culture.
Huh?
The long eyelashes.
What makes that right, though?
What'd you say?
What makes that right, though? That doesn't make it right.
It doesn't. I mean, what you're talking about is the uncultivated woman and the deconstruction of womanhood. Long eyelashes, that tend to be a male characteristic because y'all tend to have them long, beautiful eyelashes. And I'm telling you, I'd be jealous looking at some of my brothers and they just talk and blinking with the naturally long eyelashes. I would say for me, when I was younger and I was within a certain weight class, when I was at my most insecure, I wore little clothes. It made me feel sexy and powerful. But what it also sends a signal out, just like the eyelashes, is that you must be a little insecure about yourself. And so some people see the eyelashes and the extra, let's just say, accessories, as a thing that enhances
enhancement.
Yeah, but to some degree, a lot of people around them already find them fabulous and don't feel like they need to change anything. It's something that has to do with how they feel within. Some people see it like the sneaks as a fashion statement. But I would say, I mean, okay, so I'm guilty of wearing the eyelashes, but I never take it particularly far. And I might have some on one of these days, but I just never, because my eyes are small, it's not really becoming for me. I just never took it to those lengths. But everything is exaggerated. But I will tell you, superstars wear that, and they wear it and they make money, and it looks good because it's theater makeup. It's not really appropriate for every day, but people wear it every day, and I just look at them.
Now, I feel y'all on this, and I'm gonna ask Miss Felicia this question before I even break out on these subjects, but there are things that I did hear in this whole entire conversation, and the value. I really think less of a man by the value of how they think about women sometimes. But the one thing that I feel that us as men I have no respect for them is the Kardashian world. Like, how could you even give this girl even clout when she was made on her back? The only reason why we even know about her is because the scandal that she did with Ray J, and now we're making this woman the way she is, the way she looks, and everything. We love her, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had Cardi B on my Instagram before anybody else knew about her, and she is the most trashiest thing I can see on the planet. I mean, the Instagram, I was like, oh my God. You know, I would look on there and be like, oh my God, she's in the strip room in the back there with the strippers, and she just doing things to them. And her mouth is like, how could you even want somebody like this? Like, why would you even want that? And we loving these people, and we giving them all of our money for their albums. And I'd be like, this girl is trash. Like, I don't know her personally, but the way she came at me on her CDs and her Instagram showed me that's not the woman I want. And we are idolizing these women as we even putting their names out there. And for me, we shouldn't even put them on. She shouldn't even be on TV. Kim Kardashian shouldn't be on TV. I already seen her. She's on video. I don't need to see her anymore. No. I mean, what's the point?
Kimmy Cakes.
I mean, what's the point of the value? That's why I asked you. That's why I switched it up to you, Miss Felicia, on let's talk about the men and what they value. Because to me, looking at you four ladies, you are naturally beautiful. Like, nothing about you. You didn't come on here caking on makeup. You didn't come on here overdoing your hair, other than Miss Michelle giving up the sauce on that. You didn't come on here and totally change your appearance just to be on TV. You came on here naturally and who you are. Why do you feel as though that the man put these certain women on a pedestal that they really shouldn't be on? That's why I talked to y'all about a value of a woman. That's the first thing I asked you was give me 4 things that you value. That's one value that I cannot do. I can't have. If my girl was on a video, she's not gonna be my girl. If she was on a national syndicated, like every man wants this one woman. Why? She was on her back. Okay, you want to see what she can do? Technically, she was just laying there. So it wasn't like she would even put on a good show. That's all I'm saying. So Miss Felicia, what do you think about how the men value these women and value you in a different perspective? Like, why is this woman rich and not you for you being so successful for what you do? What's going on with that, Miss Felicia?
You know, as you was talking, I was sitting here thinking, you know, that's probably why she's still single, to the extent that men don't. They don't. Men do have standards too, right? You don't see anybody rushing to her to marry her. And you have to ask yourself, why is that, right? If she all of that and she 5 bags of chips, why she ain't married? Take Beyonce, for instance. Jay-Z went to her. He recognized her value. I'm sure he didn't just see her from a dollar standpoint. There were morals about her. There were things that I'm sure that he gravitated to that with his world and her world combining, perhaps they could make the best out of it, whether that be good or bad. I think we don't often realize that people, again, we devalue and we value humanization. We put people in categories. We put people in good, bad categories, ghetto categories, rich categories, whatever you want to call it. And that's how we judge people. But we don't oftentimes get to know people. We don't get to know who they are. I guarantee you behind that Cardi B is a soft-spoken woman crying out for help. No.
Soft-spoken?
Crying out for help. I guarantee you. Most times when people come out with those facades like that she implements, there's a woman on the inside of her that wants love, that wants attention, that wants to be valued. So oftentimes as women, because we don't know our value, then we sway down these roads of, let me just get attention the best way I know how. But I still think, again, if you're looking at it from a male perspective, why isn't she married? You would have to ask yourself, why isn't she married if she's all of that?
But she is married.
Cardi B isn't married.
To Offset.
Well, no, we was talking about Marcella.
No, we was talking about Cardi B.
I thought I was talking about the value of,
but
I'm not married. Okay.
I thought we was talking about
the predicated on it.
I'm confused. Like there's all two left pairs of shoes.
I thought you was talking about
Cardi B is absolutely married to a rapper, though, another rapper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody from her world.
I thought you was talking
they
about
have the same values.
Why haven't the man ran to Marcella? Because of how her success has built her and made her to what she is.
No.
I'm just saying. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I'm about to put you in the timeout strap.
I would be devaluing my sister, and I would not do that. So
why didn't they come? This is not the devalue part. I was just talking about how we not frowning upon these women, the Kardashian, for laying on her back. We not valuing the Cardi B because the simple fact of how raunchy she is as a person. You saying she's hurting and all this other stuff, but girl, you haven't followed her like I followed her. Like,
and I don't. But let me tell you
what comes out her mouth.
Let me tell you, Stradivari. I'm telling you, watch people who put on this facade that all is well. Watch them. Watch people who put on this show like I'm this rough, tough person. You know, whatever words come out of her mouth, whatever she says, I'm telling you, woman to woman, we know women. We know real women and we know fake women, right? We know
how do I know that though? I don't know.
But men, y'all know too. Like you already said you ain't finna gravitate to her. She ain't your type of woman.
Every other man ain't saying that. Another man is not saying that.
Pretty much. That was what I was trying to say. Like
Kanye West, once Kanye West lost that relationship, all the other men like, yes, I'm going after her. I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking like, just watch the tape, brother. You all right?
Who's going to, so I don't know. I guess for me, I look at the woman part of it. You asked the question about the woman and why, not so much why does she act like this, but the reality of it is those women, you talk about celebrities, you talk about they're just another woman just like us. They get up out of their beds like we do every morning and put their shoes on just like we do. They bleed red just like we do. They hurt just like we do. And I think we get so caught up into celebrity and fame and all of that fortune that we put people on pedestals. And the very ones that you put on pedestals are very, very ones that will disappoint you and make you realize that they ain't what they say they are. So again, I've learned to just watch people. I study people. You can tell me all day long you rich and got $1 million, but I can look at your shoes if you ain't rich and got $1 million. So it's just that. Like
About them Nas X shoes, Lil Nas X shoes.
That don't make
sense. Let me get this.
People in categories. I think we put people in categories way too much in this world.
Really? Well, let me get Miss Michelle on this aspect of that. I do like how you guys can definitely piggyback off each other. It's like you know y'all are good. You guys, we are a good starting five on this one because I know exactly who I can shoot the shot to. So let me shoot my shot and see how Miss Michelle is able to take this on. What do you think about this certain subject, Miss Michelle?
Okay, y'all are all over the place. So re-ask your question again, so I can
My
make sure
my
that I'm
question
on the
is
right subject.
my
Because
my my
we went
question
from
is
Cardi
we
B
still on
to
how do we value people, and how does the man, how do you look at the man valuing certain women in certain aspects, like we talk about the Kim Kardashians and the Cardi B's. How are we putting them on a higher pedestal than you are, when they are they're just trashy, put it this way. They just totally out there, and men love it. Men love it.
We
Like, this is
love that
what I
flashy.
want.
Yes,
We love it. We love it.
yes.
But how are they higher than you? Why aren't you in the shoes are they in?
because I have character, I have ethics, I have morals. I agree with what some of what Miss Felicia has said, but they are no better than I am. They just have money and they just have the limelight. Like you said, the Kim Kardashian is where she at because of the video and because of her dad.
No, she could have already had that money without with just being because of his dad. She would have had the money. She's already in the aspect of he made the money for the family, so she didn't need to lay on her back to be a millionaire.
No,
She didn't need that.
she didn't, but I mean that's what happens when may he rest in peace, when your dad is no longer in your life anymore, and you have to, unless you stand on the values of what he already taught you when you was young, when you stray away from that because you're getting out in the world and that spirit of the world reaches out to you and you start seeing other things. So that's the problem with our young ladies today. They look at people such as the Kardashians, they look at people such as Cardi B and all that, and that's not a great example at all the time. Okay, because they may do some good humanitarian stuff, but the way they carry themselves, how they look, these young ladies thinking they should look that way. Now, far as so they're no different than I am, and I have to agree with you, Miss Felicia. When you some people have hidden personalities. When they perform, they're one way, but at home they're another way, but you'll never find out.
Okay.
You'll never find out. But the thing is, when these people create these additional personalities, they live through those personalities because that's not what they want to be in real life. But that's what the
Okay.
world wants them to be. So to make the money talks. Money make you be stuff that you don't even want to be, and money makes you do stuff that you don't want to do. But if you want to continue that limelight, continue receiving that money, you got to be something that you don't want to be. So they're no different than I am. I just choose not to go that route because there's other ways for me to be prosperous, wealthy, and all that wonderful stuff. And from a male's perspective, all males are different. There are males that like big women. There's males that like thick women. There's males that like skinny women. There's males that like dumb women. Males that like strong alpha women. So you really can't say what the male perspective is because all you men have what y'all like. Some men want a strong woman, but then they'll pick the dumb woman so they can control them. I mean, come on. We
You
can't.
just
Oh
sound like
yeah,
we telling us we confused. That's what you're saying.
yeah. But my thing is, it's not your fault. When y'all have your perspectives, however you was raised, for me, I put it this way: I love my mama. But there's some things I knew my mama did. I hear me saying and doing. I be like, oh, the devil is a lie. I shall not be like her. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna be who God created Michelle to be, not like my mom. So we inherit how we was raised and where we came from, but we don't have to be that way. Be your own person, love your own self. But for as men, y'all have y'all different options. Y'all have one up on us. Even though y'all say, well, we shouldn't be so with our long list, y'all men have y'all long list too. Okay? Y'all have
I
y'all
got a
long
long
list.
list.
Unfortunately, us women have to come in and pick and choose the pickings because half the men that are taken, they shouldn't be with the women they with, and then the other half are probably in prison. So,
Oh
and
my
there's some good
God.
men in prison that should not be there, and they probably have potential husbands, but we can't go get them. All right.
There's some good means in prison, huh? Okay.
Yeah, so overall, y'all men, y'all have y'all differences, y'all have y'all levels. We'll never figure it out. So you gotta like hood, you like nerd, you like strong, you like weak, you like thick, you like small, you like skinny, you like dumb, you like another race. We'll never know until you approach us. So how you carry yourself is the type of man you gonna grab. All right, that's my take on that.
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. That gives me a lot to think about over there. Okay. Wow. What's going on, Miss D? And then I'm gonna let Miss Marcella go ahead and drive us home with that one. What's up with you, Miss
So
D?
the question was, why do men value women like this? Is that what you're saying? Why are they always in the limelight and propped up in front of us? Yeah. So that's by design. I mean, we all know what it is. It's the programming of our minds. They want Black women to be overly sexualized. They want us to be independent and fight our Black men. Everything you see on TV about us is loud and boisterous. We're attitudinal. We fight our Black men. Or if we're professionals, we in relations with some white man on a TV show. That's what it always is. Always. We're going to be with attitude, or we're going to be professionals with a white man on TV. That's just what it is.
Or we make too much money and we think we don't
we're
deserve
stuck single. Right. Or we're stuck single because we're a lawyer or we're a doctor, because we can't have a man who respects, a woman who is professional who makes a lot of money. So the programming we receive daily is by design to keep our families apart. I mean, you have who controls what we see and what we hear. That's why these women are propped up in front of us, because that's what they want our mom's program to be. That's why our young girls feel like they have to wear weave, because if I want to be rich and I want to be successful, I got to wear a weave and I got to, have a WAP and, do all these other crazy things, because that's what's shown to me constantly, and it's real out there. I didn't realize how out there these kids are sexually. Like, it's amazing the things you find out when you see these candid conversations with these high schoolers. It's a lot going on. And it's the culture. It's an over-sexualized culture. So, I mean, it's that way because that's where our minds have been programmed to go. It's what we constantly see and hear.
Okay. What's going on, Miss Marcella? Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. What's going on with this, Miss Marcella? What do you think about this? Because I really want to hear the value of what you're trying to say when it comes to these situations of how the men actually look at these women and put them on a pedestal that I think they don't deserve. I mean, if Kanye West broke up with Kim Kardashian, he broke up with her at his peak of his gospel stage in his musical career. So the man really took on another form of life in his Christianity. He should be valued to me and respected a little bit more than what he's been deemed as. I know y'all think he crazy and all that other stuff, but the man he went on tour. He was pretty much, he outdid Kurt Franklin this year to me. His music was way better. Like, it was way better. It totally had another way. I mean, I saw him at Howard University doing their homecoming, and that it was like, a person that was next to me started singing, and I didn't even know she was in the choir. I was like, oh my gosh, she's in the choir. Like 500 of you guys. So he took on a whole nother realm of making himself be spiritual within himself, and she got rid of him. And I'm trying to say, like, who the hell is she? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are with getting rid of Kanye? West getting rid of Kanye? I'm like, I put Kanye West on another higher perspective. So y'all can talk about Kanye all y'all want. Like,
no.
Crazy.
First of all, Kanye discredited himself, okay, when he made that statement about slavery being a choice. Kimmy Cakes was trending number 2 in the United States today. She's a businesswoman. I'd say both Cardi B and Kimmy Cakes represent sexual freedom to a lot of women.
Kimmy Cakes is what you call
Kimmy Cakes, the Kanye. And also, if you look at it from a psychological standpoint, it's sexual terrorism. It's femininity, kind of like the extreme of femininity thrown in your face. And it has a certain power to it, and it's highly marketable. I would agree with Damali that it is an agenda. because an uncultivated woman raises uncultivated children who are easily manipulated. So why do men want them? It takes a certain type of man to want them, but you know, men want what they offer, and they offering sex. They want that. Some men, that's what they want. I would say that
but it's only temporary. That's only temporary.
Well, maybe that's all they want is temporary. I'll tell you what, on the other side of this is men always wanted to control our bodies. And there's nothing more intimidating than a woman saying, hey, I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be masculine in my sexuality. Well, no, I'm going to be the extreme, on the extreme end of femininity. And it's going to be in your face. You can't control my body. And men are intimidated by that. Kimmy Cakes is a businesswoman. Well, her mom was a businesswoman at first, and I think they turned that around. Ray J was trying to discredit her, and it was flipped. They built a very strong brand off of her back, and now she's about to be a force to be reckoned with law. Kanye West, he was loving it. As a matter of fact, Kimmy Cakes was getting all types of surgery to live up, especially with the curves. She probably had curves naturally, but those curves she bought, those are black girl curves. So there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. I think it's an agenda. That's the energy flow that they're in, and it doesn't represent the traditional mindset of femininity and womanhood. I believe, like Damali, live and let live. If they want to do some WAP, I wasn't down for it. I did notice one of the Kardashians was up in the video, and she wasn't down there twerking and doing what the other girls did. Let me say something. There is. I had to clear my throat. You know what I'm saying?
You watched the WAP video, though? I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm listening to you.
Oh no, Cardi B could flow. I listened to her underground work before she became.
She sound like Jibber Jabber.
No. Her mixtape ones was awesome. Her flow was awesome. I will say that it's a shame when you could be a woman that's talented, but the first thing that the industry want to do is pimp you out like a prostitute. And so this is a formula, just like the ghettoization and the thugamization, that's not even a word, of the black male. And we only feed that idea into the pipeline until it's okay for a man's life to be stumped out in 8 minutes on national TV and nobody cares about it. Kanye, I don't care that he's a billionaire now. His music he made, the first 2 albums I really liked.
Okay, you're right there with me. We're here.
Yeah, slavery is an option. He kind of threw me on that one.
Because the slave man didn't go back and get the repercussions. He didn't put on a black hoodie and kill them while he was being killed. He decided to do the 10 Commandments. No, it just didn't make sense to me that we didn't actually just turn, like, if somebody spit in my face right now, they're going to get their ass whooped. Sorry. But if a person tried to come to my parents' house and fight for and say that, you know, they're just trying to tear me down just because I'm of this race, it's not going to happen to us. Like, even looking at you 4 women right now, y'all not taking no mess. Y'all not taking no ish from nobody. I know this.
I don't know, Strad.
It's 21st century mindset, and if somebody wanted to choke me out on news, who come to my rescue?
Nobody.
Somebody gonna choke you. If I'm around, that's not happening. I'll risk myself going to jail. I don't care. And to me, that well, let's just go ahead and pop the new subject. If George Floyd, if that situation happened with George Floyd, why didn't somebody just tackle the cop and knock him off of the man, the knee off that man's neck? That's one subject that I do have some type of gripe about, because so many people, like watching a court case after today, after George Floyd. Let me give you a little bit of background on how the court case has been happening, because I know you guys have been busy, but they really kind of played him as the one who caused this issue, who basically put himself in this precarious position. And to me, this whole entire court case shouldn't even be this long. We shouldn't even be talking about it personally. Like, these cops have too much avenue to do what they want to be able to take your life. That, I mean, it's kind of like an unfair kill anybody you want to kill because that's your job. You know what I'm saying? It's your job. I don't want to speak about jobs because I know I can be touchy on these things because I feel as though preachers are just people that's just trying to get paid. It's just their job. They're not truly sanctified in a book that everybody can read. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm just like, I mean, my whole family is really into religion. They really are into it. I mean, totally. They knocked me out of it by being so religious. Like, I mean, I went to their church and they had people just pushing each other in the forehead. They was bouncing and it was just people foaming at the mouth. I mean, this is what I saw when I was young. I was like, I'm traumatized over it instead of being sanctified over it. This is something I saw. So I'm just trying to give y'all an aspect of how this world is pushing towards what we're looking at and what's making us today. On the George Floyd, I know I'm sorry I went off topic on that, but on the George Floyd situation, what is y'all take on this whole cops being able to do whatever they want to do to build up and break down people to make them the victim? Like the cop is the victim now. Now he should be looked at as the victim. Like, what do you think on that? And I really want, let's go ahead and just start out with Miss D on this one.
It's a system. I mean, what is the origin of police? They were the nigger chasers in slavery. If a slave escaped, they went and chased the nigger and brought him back to his owner. That's what their purpose was. That's what they were created for, and they still do that to this day. They execute us. They are licensed to execute us. That's what their purpose is. I mean, not the full purpose. I'm sorry. Let me bring it back. Let me calm my emotions down.
Okay.
It is a known fact that the KKK and other fascist groups have infiltrated the police and other law enforcement organizations.
Okay.
They've made it a part of their agenda to be in the number in police activity so that they can go out and execute their agenda, which is to execute us. Period. Okay. To enslave us. 13th Amendment. Go watch 13th on Netflix if you haven't seen it. But the whole system, the reason why a black man can be murdered on TV live and a cop can go free is because it's mental programming. They want us to be scared. They want us to fear these people. So these things are going to get highlighted and played over and over and over again. So yeah, of course, at the moment, most people will not put themselves on the line to go save another person being harassed by a cop, because as soon as you put yourself in that situation, your life is permanently affected for the rest of your life.
You might be a billionaire after that, though, for saving that man's life right there, though.
But most people don't think like that. Most people think, I'm gonna be fighting the case. I can't afford to fight. You in the hood? Who's recording in the hood?
Everybody recording in the hood.
People in the hood who can't afford lawyers to fight a case. They're not putting themselves in that position. As a person who could probably afford a lawyer, I'm not putting myself in that position.
You're not going to even take a chance. Take a chance, honey. You're not going to take a chance, huh?
I'm not getting executed too. No.
Okay, Miss Felice, what you think on this aspect of it?
Yeah, no. I personally agree. I mean, let's do the math. There were people standing there recording it. There were people at a distance saying to Chavez, "Hey, you're killing him. Hey, hey, get off that man." They were saying it, but not moving. And I'm not even going towards the police officers. And I remember thinking when this first happened, why was there was a black male, to be honest with you, who I think he might have been with George at the time that it happened, that was saying to the cop, "Hey, get off of him. Man, he can't breathe." And I remember thinking, well, why didn't he go over and do something? Why didn't he step up to defend him? But I want you to also think about there were other cops standing right there guarding him. They were waiting on him to bust a move. They were waiting on him to make the first move. And we all know how that would have resorted. We already know what would have came out of that. That would have been 2 dead black men laying on the ground. And so when we talk about this, we can't put the blame back on us. We can't say, oh, the black man should have stepped up and defended another black man. Black men are tired of dying. They're afraid of dying by the law enforcement. Y'all, Lord have mercy. Okay, let me calm down.
Go ahead, say what you feel. Go ahead.
Children. Okay. I work with children, and my kids, we did a town hall meeting where my kids were able to sit down and have a conversation with the police, and they were able to ask those tough questions right after this situation happened with George Floyd. In fact, one of George Floyd's niece was on my panel of the youth that were able to ask the police officers, why did this happen? We are afraid. And so you got this whole cycle that's repeating itself even in our younger children, that they are afraid of stepping up and addressing situations with the police. So what I tried to do is and really bridge that gap with our children and the law enforcement, because we did it with Missouri City Police. We've done with several other police organizations where I've allowed my kids to have those conversations with them. And I'm also working on a youth program right now that I want to do for the summer, whereas my kids can actually go through a cadet class, right? Law enforcement cadet class. But we've got to figure out a way how to address this with our children. I get your question about the man, the situation, and why somebody didn't step up. I asked this: why didn't the cops step up? Why didn't the cops? They standing there. Why did they not push that man off of him and say, "Man, get up off of him"?
That's what they're supposed to do. Though. They're supposed to just kill him.
Bottom line. And so until we can educate ourselves again on the law and how to comply and abide by the law, we're afraid to step up and do anything. So that's why I fight so hard and advocate for our children, because I want them to know what the law says. Do you not know that there's certain things that a police officer can stop you for today and you don't have to comply. But because our mindsets are, you better comply, we instantly give in. I tell my black young boys this all the time. Don't allow them to search your car. Call your parents. You are a minor. They don't have the right to search your car, and an adult is not there. So we have to educate ourselves, y'all. I'm a stickler for education. As y'all can see, I get passionate about this kind of stuff, especially when it comes to our black males, our black children. When does it ever stop? When does it ever stop?
I'm going to keep the carousel rolling on that one. I'm gonna come back around on this one, and we're definitely gonna ask you the question again when after we go back around. I'm going to definitely ask you again about that, because you're so passionate about how you feel about the cops and how you feel we should be able to understand the rules and the regulations of what they're actually trying to protect and serve. Let's just roll with let me roll with Michelle on this one, and then once again I want my Marcella to just hit me with a summary on that.
Before you say that, I'm gonna say one thing. You said they're supposed to protect and serve, but that's what their cars used to say. They say law enforcement now. They don't say protect and serve anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, bang bang. Go ahead, Michelle. Don't give us you won't give us a face like that, okay?
In the George Floyd situation, like Miss Felicia said, or Marcel, I don't know who said it, or the Molly, those cops was surrounding, protecting, circling the other cop that had his knee on George Floyd. So whether we moved or not, we would have been put in jail also. It's like they was protecting him. It's sad to say this, and Felicia, keep up the fight. But that's just always going to be an ongoing fight. Bottom line, like you said, the KKK has infiltrated the government, the police department, and no telling what other important department or system that this is always going to be an ongoing fight. It's good for us to keep fighting and keep the pressure or keep it at bay to a certain point, but it's always going to be an ongoing fight. Do I wish it happened? No.
You're saying this fight, but can we even win this fight?
No.
Is this fight winnable, ladies? Is it really winnable?
Because it's too diverse. Because it's not just the white man that is hurting our people. It's even our own people.
Okay.
It's even our own people. It's all around. literally it's all around.
So y'all still don't think that nobody should have saved that man from that cop?
How could they? They were it's like the cops were circling. It's like us. It's like my sister in a fight with another girl, but that other girl got her people surrounding her. My sister got me and her friends surrounding her. So if anybody else try to jump in, guess who's gonna jump in? So while they continue to fight, we taking care of the other matter. That's how it was in that situation. Other cops were surrounded with their hands on their gun because they trigger happy. You see what I'm saying? So it really wasn't nothing that nobody could do without getting hurt themselves. But they'll sell a gun to a crazy nut and let him go walk in somewhere and shoot everybody up. And then other people that save each other's lives, you want to call them heroes, but we couldn't be a hero to save our own brother.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing fight. There was really nothing that they could do unless they was ready just to get hurt and to get arrested, which you have those people out there. It just so happened we didn't have those type of people out there that would have said, I don't give a what happens. Go over there and push that cop off because you got plenty of cameras showing what he was doing. So hopefully that camera and the footage would have helped you in your case, not to get locked up for a long time because in their eyes, you assaulted an officer. Well, bruh, I'm about to assault an officer. There's cameras. Shoot me, do whatever, but you're going to get off that man's neck.
That's how I was feeling. I
understand, but it was people like you that wasn't there to help him. That's the only downfall. It was, now we want to march and say, but it's too late. He gone.
It is too late. He's already gone.
He's gone. Right. Where were you when it was happening? Well, even though you wasn't there, people that were there, they just didn't have the balls in the fight. But I bet you they tell us out there protesting. But anywho, they just didn't have the balls in fight. The ability to go and fight for him, or just or kept pushing against the other cops to make him, or somehow, push against the other cops, closed in on him to where he would have had to get off of him. However see fit, it didn't happen. It's too late. It's an ongoing fight. It's not going to change because it ain't just the white cops. It's all the cops. They black, white, Hispanic, whatever. They have their mentality of, they got that power. It's all about the power. With cops, it's all about the power, and they're going to play on your stupidity. And I'm glad Felicia said what she said. They're going to play on your stupidity. So if you don't know the law, they're going to use that power against you to get where they want to go. So,
guys, because I know you guys don't know about the sovereign citizens and everything, and the sovereignty of the nation.
So real quick,
I know.
Just to end, you know how we could fight it? I'm glad it just hit my mind. You know how we could fight this? Learn the law. Teach our black men and women our rights, our laws. They can learn these rap songs, so start quoting the law.
Oh, wow.
And videotape it while if you can learn the rap songs, if you can learn who's who, if you can learn the stats of a basketball, football, or whatever type of player, start learning the law to protect yourself. That's how you're going to fight it. That's how you're going to get them off your back with your camera, quoting the law. That's how you do that.
I hear you, but you still got to have a good lawyer for that one. Go ahead, Miss Marcella. You still got to have a good lawyer in order to quote them laws. Go ahead, Miss Marcella.
Well, this is a very personal conversation for all of us because I, for one, I'm getting tired of seeing my black man assassinated. Until Black Lives Matter, nobody life matter. That's number one.
That was going to be my next question on that.
Okay. So I'm gonna hold my comments on that then.
No. Keep saying what you guys say.
Because it's okay when people watch us being gunned down in the streets and treated like animals. Because to some degree, people believe that we deserve that somehow. It's an unspoken but acted out indictment on being a black person in America. It could happen to a man. It could happen to a woman. So it was an assassination by a race soldier to me.
Okay.
Protected served. I was an MP. I served in the military intelligence. I protected, along with many other soldiers, our right to be in this country, and oftentimes a country where many brown people like me pay the ultimate price just for being Black.
Mm.
So how do I feel about the Honorable Mr. Floyd? I think it was an injustice done, and no matter how they want to how they want to shake it, and I don't think for a minute or a second that they don't care about being those who believe in that type of behavior and have that mindset that we don't matter. They don't care about whether or not they're on the right side of history or not. We must understand the rules of engagement. I do not believe that if we follow the laws of this land alone and expect them to support us, that we will be victorious, because the laws wasn't written for us. It wasn't written for Black people.
That's it.
And it wasn't written for women. Our rights to control our body. It's a nasty stain on and just on the tapestry of America. And until there's some level of reparations made on all levels through all areas of being, then this will continue to happen. We cannot think that we could just go into the courtroom and stop the psychology of racism. It permeates the globe. It's, in my opinion, it should be in the DSM. I do think that we should define what it means to have community. And when we talk about women, uncultivated women, and Mr. Jackson cultivating family and a sense of community do require, even I'm about to contradict everything I say, but it does require a certain level of decorum. We are at war, basically.
Okay.
So that's my opinion. I ain't saying go out there and kill any race soldiers or anything, but what I am saying is, yeah, do know the law. That helps.
So
also,
go ahead.
Oh no. Also, have a fearlessness about yourself, because the other side of justice is poverty. Mr. Stevenson said that. And the other side of justice is death for innocent women, children, and men. So again, until Black Lives Matter, no life matter. A lot of people ride on our suffrage. Our suffrage is very, very, very deeply in within us, and a lot of the people are afraid. They're being terrorized. Some people are actually probably immune to it, and some people, quite frankly, feel we deserve it. I think this problem is multifaceted, in that we probably need to talk seriously about what we're going to do to regain our time and our power.
See, I never want to talk about me as a person, but before I go to Miss Felicia, I never want to talk about my problems on my aspect of how I think about life is and what goes on with me in my personal life. But when it comes to cops, I think as though they're like road roaches. They're not here to save me from a damn thing. I feel as though I should have my own gun and protect myself without them, govern myself accordingly. Now, personally, you guys live in certain states where you live in Texas, where you're able to go to Walmart and buy a gun. So a lot of people really not going to kind of like test you, because they don't know what you might pull out on them. So they have a mental something in the back of their head saying, I'm not going to mess with that person. But the cops in this aspect of where I live at, they have speed trap cameras on 4 angles of the road. So what is the point of them pulling people over? You know what I mean? It's no point of them actually being there when it's already something that keep you from speeding. So you're just adding on to actually trying to make more money on the aspect. But the reason why I say this is because I know you guys live in Texas, and Texas is a state that it's called kind of me like the freedom state, where you're trying to come up with your own laws. And, you know, after what y'all went through with the snowstorms and everything, you know, things are kind of dying back from that feeling of we don't need the government to help us with anything. But what do you feel as though, Miss Felicia, on govern yourself accordingly when it comes to understanding the George Floyd case? If you were basically governing yourself, would you even allow these things to even happen? You could be your own cop. You don't really need them. what do you think about governing yourself accordingly when it comes to you're in your state of Texas? And I don't know, y'all can go to Dick's Sporting Goods store, am I not correct, and just buy you a 12-gauge shotgun and be good. You know what I mean? So I would feel more protected like that than somebody, I'm already shot and now you're coming to basically clean my blood up. I just don't feel as though it's having a cop is actually that much needed when you can just do it all on your own. So let me get your understanding. And Miss Felicia, remember, you have a husband and everything, so you feel a lot more protected than I do. I'm by myself. So,
well, the first thing I was going to say was, again, like I said to you on the previous show or one of the shows that we were on, I think I remember saying to you, I hear you as a Black man. I hear you. I get it. Like, as a woman, there is a level of protection that I do have from my husband, my brothers, whomever, when it comes to protecting me from the bad cops. You guys don't have that as Black men. And this is kind of where I get a little emotional about it because, again, they're shooting and killing y'all. And oftentimes it's when do we ever step up? You know, I wish there was something that we could do as women. I wish there was something that we could do as mothers more, because we are stepping up and women are crying out, enough is enough. But I wish that there was some major coalition that was formed, whereas the Black sisters, the Black women, the Black mothers, grandmas, aunties, all of that would come together and say, we're not going to let y'all kill another one of our Black men. We don't have that weight that y'all have because honestly, they're not shooting us as quick as they are y'all. They tell us to put our hands up. They got a little pull on us and they can knock us down and throw us on the ground and drag us and whatever. But with y'all, they're intimidated. They're fearful for whatever reason, right? And so I hear you. My heart aches to even hear you say what you say because I get it. Like, why wait on the police to come protect me when they very well could be the ones to ultimately destroy my life? Mm-hmm. Right? Young man sitting in this, what was the little young boy in Dallas? The cop walked in, thought she was in the wrong apartment and shot and killed him. He didn't bother nobody.
Oh, the one that went into the room and
I can't think of his name.
It was the wrong apartment.
Yeah.
And she just went in there and just shot him, even though she knew that wasn't her apartment.
So to answer your question about where we are here in Texas, I don't think it'll ever change. Like, have y'all noticed, and I want you to think about this, every time there's a killing, every time there's a shooting, every time there's a riot, Texas, you don't hear about it here. You don't hear about the Black people burning buildings. Think about it. You don't hear about us burning buildings and destroying stores and all of that in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, whatever. You've never, and we've had the killings here. But
okay, I never knew that.
Think about it. Y'all don't hear, I don't think, to my knowledge, and I may be wrong, Jamala, you can help me on this one, but you don't hear about us when there's riots. We don't get involved. We don't get engaged. We don't do the riots. And I think a lot of it is because, I'm going to be honest with you, because of the fear that we have here in Texas with the officers. There's a good old boy system here that either you comply or you die. Reality.
Either you comply or you die. Okay.
Bottom line. And so I think a lot of times people in the Texas region, we just know to comply. We just step back. We ain't trying to fight with the cops. We ain't trying to make it bad for us. Because it does happen here a lot. You get on the bad side of a cop and your whole life is pretty much destroyed. It's just the way of the beast here. But how do we, as Texans, I don't know that we would ever have anything in place for us to, like the average American citizen, to protect us from the law. We don't have that here. Make no mistake about it. We're not protected just like the people in St. Louis and DC and everywhere else. We're not protected by the law.
You said DC protected by the law? What do you mean by that then? Well, how are you protected by the law then?
Well, you apparently you're not. If you can run into the Capitol and ultimately destroy it, apparently you're not protected by the law. So let's put it all on the table. There's a reality to this. The law doesn't protect us. She said it. They used to. The sign says what? They don't protect and serve anymore.
It's
Law enforcement agents. Law
It's
enforcement
revenue.
agents. Bottom
It's
line.
revenue stream.
revenue.
Bottom line.
It's
And so I think,
It's a part of the stock market, huh?
Yeah. So we got to go back and look at this whole bigger picture, because again, it's impacting our children. It's impacting our youth. It's impacting the young Black men that are coming behind y'all that are just as fearful, probably doubly fearful as you are. So
but the law protects what it wants to protect.
Or who it wants to protect.
Exactly, because you made the correct statement. You don't see us doing riots. But you don't, I'm sorry, I wanted to piggyback on you. You don't see us going shooting up everybody and killing everybody.
Mm-mm.
And the thing is, when these people go and shoot and kill everybody, they walking in all handcuffed as if nothing has happened to them. Let it be a Black person that went in shooting and killing everybody.
The DC sniper messed it up for the Black people. They was Black. They messed it up. They totally went out on a rage and just started killing everybody.
That's one person versus how many massacres have we had in the past 5 years? Let's just say 5 years, not 10 years.
That's the only massacre I really know about, other than everybody else being in there.
I'm talking about the shootings, all these high school shootings, the most recent shootings we've had now. It's ridiculous, and it's sad.
You know what?
But they want to talk.
Honest with you, one of my friends, when I went to high school, he got shot by another Black kid over an Eddie Bauer jacket, and there was never a story about a school shooting. But I believe my high school was one of the first high schools in the 90s to have a school shooting, and no one knew about it. And our school was broken. Our school was broken because the guy that got shot had a 4.0 GPA, and when he got shot, he was the smallest kid in the entire school. So the stray bullet hit him, and it was sought out for another person, and it went through the jacket because the jacket was so big. It went through the jacket, and it hit the little boy in the back. So
I would say this: our whole system is jacked up. We help who we want to help. We cover or protect who we want to cover and protect. I'm not trying to get off a subject on the cop thing, and trust me, I'm making a point when I say what I'm about to say. There are people that out there that are sick, but we see on the news, they want to pick certain people to put on the news, and then they hear up and say, go to our GoFundMe things and help this. But I never see any Black folks. I mean, I don't have nothing against other races, but I'm making a point. We protect and help who we want to protect and help. And that goes the same with the cops and the courts and everything else. We protect and help who we want to protect and help. Just so happily, they're not of our color.
Wow.
It's bottom line.
Miss Marcella, what you got? And then Miss D, I want you to go ahead and bring us home with that. Miss Marcella, what you got on this situation of the cops and protection of everything? Basically, with the George Floyd situation, I just don't understand why there was nobody else to protect us as men. So, and you know what? I don't want to sidetrack anything, but when you say Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter is not for the male that has masculinity. It's for the male that pretty much is a part of the all of those letters community. I can't even go into all of these different letters: HBT, LBT, HIJKL. I just don't understand all the hyphenations. So, I mean, just use one term and that's it. But I want to know how are we able to get protected by? Is anything going to protect us at this point? Was it anybody going to be able to jump in and stop this action, this killing? Is anybody going to help us?
Well, I would say, we have to understand the rules of engagement. We're not in those instances such as that. We're not in friendly territories, I would say. No. In the sense of somebody rescuing you, when a Black or white, when a Black man or Black woman is in pain, nobody comes to our rescue.
Okay.
And if it's on the 6 o'clock news, it's to be expected. It's a condition that's accepted. So I would say that a lot of us have been conditioned to not meet power with power. And so you're not going to really get anybody off of you who is exhibiting that level of aggression without countering it. In my opinion, the old adage of marching is a bit outdated.
Very outdated. I was waiting for somebody to say that.
I would say that. But, the way that the insurrectionists conducted themselves supported what they were doing. And the response was a lot different than the responses that we get. And that is because we are relegated to second-class citizens. I don't care how much money you make. If you're not recognized in the streets, you will be treated like a black person. Isabel Wilkerson likes to use the term caste interchangeably with racism. But the whole purpose of this, still security to our way of life, of the American way, it was built on the slave trade. And so you mentioned about what the overseer basically, because we talk about trying to protect the interest of the system, especially back during slavery times, served a very specific purpose. And if the black man is seen as the enemy, then the black man has to be neutralized. And some people have that mindset. When I said the rules of engagement is understanding what exactly is going on and how to counter it. Oprah said once that, the counter ignorance and racism in the marketplace, excellence and only being able to provide one particular service is a counterance. But I would say that we have the unique complexion that it really doesn't matter whether or not you have a certain social status, or if you feel that you've been relegated to a different caste because of your celebrity. We have a responsibility to practice collective economics and also clearness in action. We are stratified along many lines, but if we unified and globally, because I've traveled globally, and a lot of us, we get into nationalism where we don't see ourselves as coming from Africa or many other countries that used to be a part of Africa.
See, I'm not even going to go there because we keep looking back at Africa, but technically the black man was already here before all that.
Well, I could hit you
already
on that.
settled on this.
I could hit you on that. I would agree. History always tells us that we navigated from Africa, but there was nations of Indians who were kicked out of the so-called Indian nations that were already here. You have the indigenous in places
they
like
weren't the
Australia.
only ones here, though. We were here with them. We was
well,
a part of.
We are the Indians, though. That's
we are the Indians. We are.
Yeah, but let history tell us Michael Jackson is going to be white. You know what I'm saying? And the Indians are white now.
I never wanted to go there.
So my point is, it's all about perception. The Honorable, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she talks about the system and what the purpose of it is. I don't think that the system is here to protect the black man. And then I'm going to make one last statement, and then I'm going to turn it over to everybody. And it totally slipped my mind. I think I was talking about the rules of engagement. I was talking about the black man, right? I was talking about this system, and I should have taken notes. So if I remember it, I'll let you guys know it. But there's one final point I wanted to make about this, George Floyd. Oh, the first thing somebody do when they conquer a village is burn the village, right?
The first thing that somebody does is conquer the village. Is they burn the village down. That is correct.
The second thing they do is kill all the young and strong and able men. Okay. In our case, our strong and able men are incarcerated or neutralized to some level. Even if it's being confused and not understanding or being willing to step into what it would mean to be a very masculine and strong male willing to fight for your community. Because you see what they do to men like that. And why would you want to sign up for that? So my point is, when I say understand the rules of engagement, if you kind of look at warfare and you look at what's been going on around for quite some time, you'll understand that there are wartime tactics that are being deployed. And if you understand them, then you can neutralize and attempt to live within hostile territories. And that's the point. If I had to say anything, I wish I just said that and shut my mic off.
Okay.
I will piggyback on that.
I will say that I don't think you asked us, and I'm going to Damali, and this is it. I don't think the way we're thinking about it that we'll be able to overcome it because we don't understand it. I talk about Francis Cress Welsing and I talk about Newly Fuller Jr. If you don't understand the system, then you will forever be in bondage to the system. And you won't even know how you're enslaved and how your every move and your condition in life is predicated upon that system. And now I'm going to shut my mic off.
Basically saying,
but we do understand the system, though. I mean, we're all knowledgeable of the system. I don't think there's a person.
Not really, Miss Felicia. You don't really understand why this is happening to us.
Well, that part I get, but to say we don't, the system itself, we know it doesn't work for us. We know it's not created for us. We understand that. That's not.
Well, why haven't we been able to tear it the hell down then?
We don't understand it. We don't even understand the codified manner. We don't understand racism, white supremacy. We don't have
the power. We don't have the power.
You trying to tell me we don't have the power?
But because let me tell you why. We don't know how to utilize power. We don't pull together and exercise power. You said it, if the five of us were to ever pull our resources together, we would be an amazing force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Imagine if the African American community were to ever pull together and we provide our resources to say enough is enough. You don't get to kill another Black man. You know, we do the blackout days, one day where we don't spend $1.
Yeah, I remember.
We don't even do that.
We don't have armies or bankers. We don't have armies, banking systems. We don't have any control over the laws, the schools. We don't even have control of our own food source. We don't have control. That's why I say, I mean, not to be insulting to anybody on this board, because you guys are all very brilliant and intelligent, beautiful Black people, African Americans, coloreds, Negroes, whatever we call ourselves nowadays. See, we don't even control the narrative. Until you understand racism, white supremacy, you will continue to be confused. I'm still trying to understand it and how to operate within it. But how do you operate behind enemy lines when every second of every day is controlled? We do not have the power, even as women, to stop a man from choking us out and beating us down. We don't have the physical power. And so when we say we watch our Black man, Black woman, Sandra, Bland, when we watch them being, and I'm not going to get emotional because I'm upset because I have people in my family that fought for democracy, but I've never seen true democracy for myself. We live in a republic and sometimes an autocracy. And so my point is, we as Black people like to believe that we understand, but we don't understand the depth of our physical, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual slavery. It runs so deep. We do not understand racism, white supremacy. It rules this world. And the major representation of it is the white male who subjugate.
I agree.
In some instances in the past, and I'm not saying all, let me clean that up. But the idea of white male power and masculinity is that of total domination of everybody else, to include their own women. The women's right movement and so-called feminist movement. So I truly, in my opinion, I do not believe that most Black people do not understand racism, white supremacy, and how to effectively combat it. If we did,
before I even go to Ms. D, so you said most Black people don't even understand our race and white people. Miss D, what do you have to say about that? Go ahead and piggyback off of Miss.
No, she's saying most Black people don't understand that we are trapped in. I mean,
we don't even know who we are.
Listen, you said it perfectly. We were already here. So if you take a nation of people who were already here, wipe away their memory of who they are, give them laws that totally suppresses them and renames them and takes away their nationality and rename them as Black so that they can write laws and treat us as property instead of us being human beings at the foundation of this nation, you really don't understand how deep it is. I mean, you if what's the movie we watched with Esoteric Thursdays? Just the movie that shows how we imported all of those German people after World War II. I mean, Hitler was the man of the year during World War, right? So, and the people who were under him were brought to the United States to help implant and start this system in the 1900s to have us where we are here today. It's a system. They attack us. They attack our mentality with media.
Wow.
They attack our spirituality with church. I mean, every single way. How can you take the original? How can you take the religion? And this is, religion is part of it. Everything is part of it. You take our religion and you bastardize it. You whitewash it. You put a white face on it. You got all these black people with white Jesus hanging up in their homes. That's now you picture the white man as your God because you have been programmed to worship a white Jesus. And most people know, really historically, there's no way Jesus is black. If Jesus, Jesus is not black. If whatever, Jesus can't be white.
You got Miss Michelle,
but
looking
real. As slaves, we were taught that Jesus is white. That's what we were taught. So you're telling me that a religion founded in Africa is now we're being saved by a white man? No. So I'm just saying, I'm saying all that to say we can't begin to fight this because we don't even know how deep it is. We from the narration of we all came over here, millions and millions and millions and millions of us came from overseas on ships in Africa. There were nations here. And I can't remember the name of the book, but if I have to go and find it.
Only
but
400
there were nations already here. If you go and look at some of those Capitol buildings in different cities, you will see built in 1660 something, built in way before America was established. We were here. And if we can't even unite to become a nation so that we can declare ourselves to be a nation and get all the things, all the reparations that we're due, the Japanese got it, the Jews got it because they're a nation. We're black. We're a category that they've given us. We're not a nation. That's why we have no rights. That's why we get nothing. We can't even unify to become a nation.
Wow. So at this point in time, you guys are saying the understanding. I believe Ms. Felicia was talking about how law enforcement, basically, if we understood what the law enforcement was and understand the rules on how to really being able to know exactly what laws you can be able to use when the cops pull you over, or when the cops basically put you in a vicarious position. If you just know the standards of what to say and what to do, then you'll be a little bit more well off. But being well off at this point even isn't good enough because the simple fact that we have no backing. There's nothing to back us up on this whole entire approach. I feel a little like I'm getting a little chills up my.
Wait, let me. Can I? And I wanted to make this point I didn't get to make. The question was, how can we use the laws to save ourselves? We cannot use the laws as structured to save ourselves. Whenever we realize and wake up that the laws that we are governed by are not for us. Like it was mentioned before, if you go to a Jewish, I forget which Jewish community in New York, they don't have New York police in their neighborhood. They have their own police force. The New York police don't police their neighborhood. They have their own neighborhood because they don't want NYPD in the neighborhood policing them. If we could unify and have our own police force, have our own, protection, that would be a wonderful thing because it's not going to happen within the system unless we create our own economic system within this system. It's never going to happen. We got to circulate that black dollar 18 times before it leaves the neighborhood. If we want to we got to start there. We got to start with the basics. If we can't even spend money in our own neighborhood with our own
people, we got to come up with our own.
How are we gonna
come up with
unite ourselves to become a nation?
Miss Felicia, you know,
get our rights.
I what you gonna say about that? I just don't understand the aspects of how law enforcement has has not bridged the gap of us being safe. They're not providing any safe zones for us to feel good about. You know, when I go out the house, I always feel in danger for some reason. But I don't feel in danger by my own people. I could walk through the hood of a neighborhood and feel good. I'm good with them. But if I get pulled over, I'm like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. My heart is beating. I don't know what to do at that point in time. I don't even know what to say at that point. So, Ms. Felicia, how could you bridge the gap on us understanding the aspect of trying to be able to basically fight this things that's coming on, these problems that perceive us? How can we even fight this whole knowledge of anything? You're shaking your head no, so that means the fight has to start with you. And right now,
no, I don't know that I don't know that we're going to ever win. I don't know that we're going to ever conquer this. I don't know. Like I said it earlier, what if all the Black women pulled together and formulated a coalition? Enough is enough coalition. I don't care whatever y'all want to call it. But what if every
enough
Black
is
woman,
enough coalition? Okay.
I'm just saying, like reality, okay? Like seriously, when I think about this, I think about how do we fight this? How do we combat this? How do we make a statement outside of a 24-hour withholding my dollar and not going to spend it in your community, which they could give a fat rat's butt if we do or don't at the end of the day, because our dollar, it does have power, but we aren't smart enough to pull together to make an impact more than 24 hours. There again, we run it back to the Nike store. So how do we pull together? Damali, you said it. Like we have to figure out how do we come together as a community, as a entity, and demand our rights. If you're telling me that in New York, this whole community is policed by their own, then why in the heck can't we be likewise? That'll never happen. I guess in my mind, when I think about it, there's a reality to that. They're not going to give us that kind of power. We would, but y'all, here's the deal though. If we as a people would ever figure this thing out, that we have to pull together. We need each other. So we ain't yet figured out the part of divide and conquer. We haven't figured that part out just yet. We don't know how to support each other. Like you said,
so we haven't figured out
we'll go to the Asians and divide their hair before we will Jack Joe down the street with his black hair store. So we've got to learn how to support each other. We've got to learn how to back each other and have each other's back and lift each other up again and provide those financial means that we pour back into our own communities. If not us, who? If not when? If not, I mean, when? When do we ever realize that we have to support our own communities? We have to be able to support each other. I don't know. I don't know that. I'm sorry, Damali. I don't know that we don't have the first principle down just yet of standing for each other. If we ever do that, if we ever came to the realization that they have suppressed us for so long that we don't know how to unify, could that be our first problem? Not now. I get what you said. You're saying
we're not unified, but the preacher try to keep you unified.
Well, come on.
No, the preacher don't try to keep you unified. The preacher tries to keep you paying tithes.
Well, no. So wait, y'all. Let's stay on the subject here. You start of our you said it. You walk out of the door and you are afraid. You can walk down the street in your own neighborhood and you don't fear your brother. You don't fear your sister. So then we need to become our brother and our sister's keeper. We need to have our own community to say, this is where we live and you're intruding if you come in our community. We don't know how to do that. We have power, y'all. We just don't utilize our power. And that's the problem. I think I hate to say this. But I think it lies with us. It lies with us. It lies with us.
It absolutely does.
The reality.
It's you don't hate to say it.
Well, I mean, I
if
don't
more
want to
people
sound like
realize,
I don't want to sound like I'm demeaning our people, because I'm not. But I'm saying it to the sense that we don't realize that. We don't realize that if we ever pull together, all of us African American people, just forget the black man. Every black woman,
we do realize it.
We pull a coalition together to say that we are not going to let y'all kill not another one of our men. Every black woman in every city. You have the Million Man March. Let's do the 5 million woman march, because there's 5 million of us. Mm-hmm. There's enough of us to pull together to make a statement.
Well, I mean, there are organizations out there who are
9 million women march, huh? Oh my goodness, 9 million black women march.
But there again, our men are protecting us, honey. Our men are protecting us. They will die for us. They will fight for us. You know, maybe they're on the forefront. I don't know, y'all. I'm just trying to figure out y'all ask me, how do we fix this? I'm trying to help us out.
I mean, there are organizations.
So is
even
there
in Houston,
anybody
that are?
Is there anybody that has an answer to being able to basically build us back up? Then I mean, we don't have the law enforcement that's going to basically be the law enforcement. They're just enforcing laws that not the law that I think they should be enforcing. I don't plan on doing anything wrong, so I don't really need them around my sphere. It doesn't make sense to me for them to be around unless there's some crazy lunatic running around. There's no point of a cop being out there I call them the road roaches. There's no point of them hovering around making things worse for me. I just don't need them. Miss Michelle, can you give me, is there any way we can rectify the cop situation with the black man? Is there any way?
It's so sad.
We're bastardizing this country, though. I mean, it's like we're in a house that we've been living in, but we're just living here. I'm gonna let Michelle answer, but we keep asking for justice and to be treated like humans.
We gotta stop asking.
We
gotta stop asking. We just gotta take what we want. They took what they want. They took our America. Our America back.
We don't own this stuff. We asking for rights in places that you heard them say that, hey, this is our country, even though it's many people who was here before them. The system doesn't feel like we have ownership, but we do. We built this country. We were here, before anything. I'm not going to dominate. I'm going to let Michelle answer, but I appreciate Felicia's, Damali's, everybody's suggestions, but it is going to take a concerted effort.
Okay. There's really, from my point of view, there's really nothing to say because y'all pretty much covered it all. Only thing I would say, no, seriously, I've been sitting here like, have at it, y'all. Because I was really impressed with Marcella. You was bringing history for some of the things that you was saying. You was bringing, history. So I appreciate the nerd in you because you're teaching me. But overall, what happened back in the 50s and the 60s prepared us for today. Even though it's still going on, it's just going on in a different limelight. There's an underlining. We supposedly are free, but there's still the underlining of slavery. And when I say slavery, I mean control, because that's all slavery was, you controlling somebody. So we're now living in today where there's an underlining, where they're still controlling us in certain aspects in the government, in certain aspect, in certain industries, in certain aspect, just around the nation. We're still dealing with slavery, but we're dealing with it in a certain aspect. Only thing is, we can buck against it and win sometimes. See, they couldn't do that back in slavery. You got your head blown off. Okay. But in today, we can bulk against it, fight against it. And sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. So the whole concept of it is we damned if we do,
And we
and we
damn if we
damn
don't.
and we damn if we don't. Well, everything that y'all was saying, all I kept hearing was, we damned if we do, and we damned if we don't. And it ain't just with the Black race; it's with the Hispanics, it's with the Indians, it's with the Asians. You know, I don't have nothing against the racists, but unfortunately, the white man is what started this along. And it's not just us, it's all cultures that's outside of the white man. That's just the bottom line. So
So do we put
overall,
them back into the caves like when back in the day during the dinosaur era, the black man was living amongst the dinosaurs and not the white man? I mean, I just want to be honest on you. Did we
well,
throw
see,
them back?
that's
Did
the
we
thing
put them
about it.
back where they supposed to be in
No,
cave
that's
minded?
that's the reason why the white man and the British and all them other people helped me out, Marcella. But I think I remember some of the history when I was paying attention in school. That's the reason why they came and did what they did, because they saw where the Indians had power. They saw where the black man had power. They saw where we had the power and the knowledge, and to keep control of it, they had to break that generation down. So when they seed came, the seed, when they know that their ancestors had power, their ancestors had land, their ancestors had money, they had to
Mm-hmm.
break that lineage. And that's why they came in and stole the land from the people. I ain't gonna say particular people, just they stole the land from the people because they had
Okay.
power, they had resources, and the other culture got greedy and was like, okay, we're gonna take control of this. Bottom line, we had our own world war, civil wars in the United States because they was trying to keep slavery, and the other people say, nah, we ain't gonna let you keep slavery, so we're gonna come in and beat you down. I mean, and at that time it was the same cultures against each other, because you hit the South against the North and the North against the South. We're gonna fight each other one way or another, and it don't matter what skin you are. You're
So
damned if you
there's
do, and you're damned if you don't.
so as I'm hearing right now, ladies, you don't have an answer for this? Miss Felicia, you don't
No,
have an answer? There's no
no.
answer, Marcel?
Well, Mr.
Yeah,
Stradivari, do
yeah,
you
it
have the
is.
answer? But how about we get your insight in this?
My answer was when if I would love to show you one of my pictures, but my Malcolm X picture is I would have loved in the 60s for them to choose Malcolm X over Martin Luther King personally. I didn't believe in the freedom of non-violence. I'd rather the black man switch over, and be violent as well as them and kill them off faster than trying to walk around and let them have a dog bite on you and let them push you around. Instead, I would rather them fight for everything injustice. I'm just sorry to say, I know y'all talk about Kanye West and him saying they chose and slavery had a choice or whatever. I just believe that they should have just fought back. And if everybody, I'm not saying everybody died on this aspect, but if everybody truly fought for what they really wanted, we probably would be in a better situation. I just don't believe that we should sit back and let things just fly by and let things go. There's no flying by and letting things go. You're either going to die for it or you're either going to die for it. It's only one choice. You're going to die anyway. So why not go out with a real bang? Everybody's going to lose their life at a certain point. It just, you trying to prolong what's the inevitable is what I call it. It's going to happen at certain points. Will you take the chance to sacrifice your life for your children? Will you take the chance to sacrifice your life for another person? Or will you just take that actual chance to be great and change how this world is actually going? Are we going to be smart enough to really change the way the law enforcement is going at this point? At this point, can we really change the justice system? I mean,
We
Felicia said
can.
there's a no way, no way. But I
It's
watch
a
it. I
zero
watch it.
sum game.
We can. Well, wait a minute. We can if we change the law. We can if we change the
I mean, I watched
rules.
The Lone Survivor. Y'all seen Netflix when the lone survivor or something like that, where they blew up the entire Capitol. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but they already went
That was a good movie.
and ran over the Capitol. They ran the Capitol. They just didn't blow nobody up. So what if that would have happened? That we no representative to represent us to make these rules and make these laws. I think I would be living a lot better without these rules and laws, to be honest, because I'd be able to walk around freely without having a mind state of there's some type of rule that's going to keep me from doing the things that put me in jail. Like, it's not making any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense that we can't change the way the parameters of the world.
Yeah, look, if I could speak to that, racism and oppression is the religion of capitalism in this country. And so it doesn't matter if we change the laws. The laws are just the outshoot of the spirit and the nature of this country.
Okay.
Just you say have your own police force to blow up. Well, not blow up, but we all seen lone survivors. I'm not saying you want to blow up anything, but my point is that would have to be an internal war that would be fought, because the people who like us to be in the situation that we're in are not just going to lay down and just like the insurrectionists and people who believe, that this is their country and nobody else should benefit from it, are still going to react in that manner. It's just flat out homegrown terrorism. And for us to think that we could change the laws that we didn't make. I mean, the laws, I'm from Philly. I might not have mentioned it. The laws was created for the benefit of a certain group. And that's the basis of it. I feel that any opposition to that it's like trying to hit a fly with a swap. I mean, them little fly swappers, or with a hatchet. I mean, you usually get that response. I mean, look at the response. Van Jones say that, after Obama was elected, we saw white whiplash, white flash, something like that. I can't remember. Oh, white lash. Because of the idea of what they see as justice. I would say that instead of trying to be equal and trying to get the laws to benefit us, which we know they wasn't made to benefit a lot of people. They were made to benefit white landowners, right? And so that didn't even include women. Okay. Why don't we just settle on justice for all people? I personally am tired of every other culture set that has privilege in this country ride on the coattails of the civil rights movement. A lot of things is a human right. And as I stated earlier, until our lives matter, until we get reparations, because we don't even have an acknowledgement of the fact that we've been harmed. There's been not many attempts, and even them attempts has always included other cultures. And so why can't people with our ancestry who our ancestors experienced what we did, what we experienced, why can't we have just justice? Let's start with that. And how about an acknowledgement and an attempt to repair? Us thinking that we're going to go up against this army that's in this country, we don't have our own armies. So it requires understanding, again, the infrastructures and the rules of engagement. It is many ways to skin a cat. And I'm not saying in that peaceful marching, it's been effective. But I would argue that we're in a different type of world now. We're in a different type of world. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Well, as we are wrapping up this show tonight, I have effectively really thought about what we can do to make this our show, but it's just having you ladies on this show that's made this show an actual show. And Miss Felicia, I really today was something different that that you brought out of everybody when it comes to, will there ever be an actual going to be living for the rest of our lives, the injustice of who we are as people, and the effectiveness that you have by just bringing up the subject of there's no way in the world that things are going to change unless we come together, and it should be a 9 million woman march, was very, very, very truth be told, was effective way to telling things that we are at war with each other and understanding each other and not learning about the laws that law enforcement have put in place to keep us from being who we are as people has really changed my mentality on how we come up with these conversations. So as I'm as I close this show, I close my show, or I close our show with uncertainty that when is this going to end for us, or as me, as a black strong man that don't take no ish from somebody, knowing that when I walk out of here, there will be something to keep me from feeling comfortable. And I want to be comfortable every day. And the only time I feel comfortable is when I'm in my own home, when I'm around my parents, when I'm around my friends, when I'm around my family. But once we leave that home, that puts me in a whole nother position that I might can't get myself out of, and ain't nobody going to be there to help me. I believe that, I trust that you ladies have given me a state of mind where there's the belief that this is never going to end. And it has to, Miss Felicia. It has to. It has to end. It might not end with you. It might not end with me, but something's going to change where all of this crap ends. It might not end today. Okay. It might not end with this conversation, but if there is a start, and that's all we have to have is just a start. So we need to be able to start something. And for the finish, we might not be there to be able to see the ending, but there is going to be an ending to what's going on in this world. Maybe I'm trying to tell y'all, maybe we need to push them back to where the position is. You need to go back to your countries, your particular countries. Everybody split and go back to where they belong. And we technically are from here. This is our land. But we're just giving it to somebody, giving it away because we wiped away the memory of how we lived on this planet before they walked on this one. So we just really need to come. I'm sorry. I hate to have this feeling of there won't be an ending to this conversation, because it's never going to end. This conversation of how law enforcement has broken themselves out to basically be the roaches of the world. They're not helping me out. They're not helping anything at this point. You only come when things already happen. You weren't around when it happened. And when it does happen, you're the ones that causing the problem to the issue. So it doesn't make sense that they should even call themselves. I mean, it's just a job. To me, it's a job that they have. I mean, we'll talk about the preachers and their job as well, because it's just a job. It's not the belief that something that you can read on your own. You read the same book. You go to college to read other books, but you're reading the same book, the same structure, and you're getting that mentality from that one person. I just find it totally unfair, and I feel as though I should get paid. I mean, y'all don't even want to start with me saying if it's a church in the community, every week they should be paying off somebody's mortgage in that community. That's just period, point blank. That mega church should be doubling up. If it's a mega church, they should be mega dropping off mortgages, is what I'm saying. We are spending our money on the wrong things, and we're putting forth our efforts on the wrong things. I think we should drain the law enforcement of all money. They shouldn't have not one penny. They should do volunteer work, just like the firemen do. It's a volunteer job. You get a monument of money certain part of the year. That's it. You shouldn't be getting a paycheck after paycheck after paycheck to kill me off. No way in hell. So as I end this unpopular opinion, my opinion right now is I can't believe that you guys didn't come up with an answer to every black man and black woman's problem right now. And the problem is, how are we able to protect ourselves? So let's finish it off with get your money. You're saying money is basically going to build your gun
and get your money.
Gun. In Texas, they already got their gun, right?
Yeah, you better believe I'm packing.
Look. Okay, Miss Felicia,
try me if you want to.
Yeah, you're ending to this one, Miss Felicia. You're ending.
I agree with you. It's a sad state of affairs. As you were talking, Stradivari, I think I've said it probably more times than not that I hear you. And you sound like the person who would be willing to die for what you believe in. All right? Kind of figured that's what you were saying.
Point blank. Point blank, it
Bottom
doesn't
line,
matter.
I heard you. Listen, I'm very good at hearing people. Not everybody wears that same mantle though, right? Not everybody has that same mindset. I'm going to be honest with you. It ain't too many of us going to die for my brother or my sister. You know, the sad part about this is you're right. We don't have the answers. We can toss this around probably for the next 50 years, still trying to figure out how do we fix this? How do we move forward? And I think the only thing that I can really conclude is we start somewhere. We start somewhere. We keep doing our part. Stradivari, you keep working with those kids. You keep teaching. You keep enhancing their lives. I'm going to keep fighting for my children. I'm going to keep advocating for them. I'm sitting here right now, y'all. I'm telling you, my mind is just ticking on making sure that I push this law enforcement class even the more this summer, because I want to make sure that our kids get a better understanding of the law. And how do we do that? We bring them to the table with the law. That's the only thing I can think, y'all. My mind is like racing because I like the 9 million woman march. I like the idea of that. I really, really do. But what's the first step? How do we implement that? How do we make it happen?
I have a first step. You know,
Damali, you keep cutting me off, and I appreciate you, but that's fine. I mean, I'm just no.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay. I don't know. I'm gonna listen to you because I don't know. I do. I yield the floor to you.
What I was saying is if we go back and think about the root of a lot of this is the psychological programming. And I know that one of the steps my family has taken is we cut the TV off. My kids don't listen to everything. And it's not because of religion. It's just that I don't want them exposed to the energy of what the world is putting out there through our media right now. It's just, I don't want them full of that. So my kids read. We watch very specific things. I mean, we do let them watch some cartoons, but I think one of the first things we got to do is work on our mental programming. Start with cutting off the TV and stop taking in so much of the programming they're forcing it in our minds. Start there, because I know that once I stop really watching TV, I've noticed a shift in everything in my life. Like once I stop just letting that programming hit me from every angle, like in the car, I'll drive with the radio off before I turn the radio on. Like I just stop the entry points of all the programming of white supremacy. That's one thing we can do very easily. Just choose to not receive the media. Start there, and then
no, I get it.
And then reinforce who you are as a strong Black person, who we are as a people. Like just we gotta intentionally program our minds to see ourselves with value and to know that we can achieve the things we want. We gotta stop. One thing I don't like is everybody always says, man, we know we gotta unify, but everybody believes that we can't. Well, who's telling us that we can't? We keep telling ourselves that we can't. And as long as we keep saying, man, we all need to unify. We all need to unify. But then everybody's like, but we can't because we Black people. That's just not what we do.
That's the death.
Where it stops. You know, so we gotta stop letting their programming, you know, we can't be unified because of colorism or whatever it is. That's the start. The mental programming. That's the start.
I think he froze.
I think we lost. Stradivari.
Man, I like to say that this is the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa riots.
And then,
go ahead.
I was going.
You're breaking up.
Before that.
Say that again.
You're fading on us. You're going in and out.
Yeah. I guess I could keep this going. We have this is the 100th year anniversary of the Tulsa riots, and a lot of people like to believe that we never unified as a people, and that we didn't fight back. Haiti fought back. We fought back.
Right.
Mr. Brown fought back. This insurrection thing that happened, with the folks fighting back. That's not the first time. People do fight back. We fought back. The church helped us. Religion, belief, unification. We fought back. I try not to. A lot of times, children who abuse Stockholm syndrome will turn it in on themselves and feel that somehow it's their fault. When you're so oppressed and you can't make a move when somebody's stepping on your neck, that's a form of a severe powerlessness. We have economic powerlessness as collectively. We don't even have equity in healthcare. So when we have things that go on like this, we feel the brunt. When America catches a cold, we already had pneumonia. This thing right here, a lot of people don't know how to get through this. A lot of Black people are going to know how to get through this pandemic. That's why they're not taking it seriously, buying them sneakers, because they're like, this is nothing new. We've always been, you may get the rest of America get a paper cut. We get straight up, we get our throat gouged out. And so for that reason alone, a lot of people don't understand our plight. We blame ourselves. A lot of people blame us for the abuse. We internalize the abuse and then turn around and hurt others. I agree with Damali. The battlefield is in the mind first. I believe through universal law that justice and balance will prevail. And so I don't have to. I can't. It starts here with me. I'm going to be real quick. It starts here with me, right? So if I know the universal law prevails and that there will be balance in the universe and all of this stuff that's upside down and the shifts that has to take for this to be righted, then the only thing I have to do is make sure that I'm on code spiritually, psychologically, and you know what? Let's even talk about what we eat. I mean, we still eat slave food, soul food. Some soul food is still slave food. So having an understanding, really understanding how everything is entrenched within us, and just seeking to free your mind. Why do I do this? Why do I think this? Why do I internalize this? Why do I accept the term somebody fell off? Why do I accept the term Black, African American? Who am I? So battlefield of the mind, battlefield of the heart, and the spirit will always win.
All right, let's go with Michelle, Miss Black.
I'm going to just not say anything. I'm sorry. I went out. Our power went out for some reason. It started flicking and literally went out. So I'm on my phone. But overall, it's just pretty much what I said today. Hold on, let me let y'all see my face. I've had to go to my phone just to get back in the room. But it's pretty much what I said today. And it was great talk. I would just say I commend whatever thing that everybody else said. If we just implement what we all said, besides saying that there's nothing we can do. Technically there is. It's just if we really want to do it. And Felicia made a good point. Stradivari, you seem like, you're a person that will fight. And if it means, taking your life, at least you fought for the cause. There's not too many people out there that's like that. But if we start seeing those people come to the forefront and start making a difference, then they'll get a backing. They'll get the support that they need. And sometimes you may not have to have your life taken just to fight for the cause, because now you have the support you need. And then the people that we're fighting, or the system that we're fighting, they'll eventually, back off. That's what they did in the 50s and 60s. They found out where the heart of the people were, where the heart of the money was, and they striked. But they help one another to get to where they need to be. They told the people, we're going to hit y'all where it hurt. Maybe we need to figure out what we need to do to hit them where it's going to hurt, to make them do what they need to do to be able to stand right by us, and not just the Black folks, for everybody that they know that they're treating wrong.
Wow. All right. At this point in time, I would say this is our unpopular opinion, but to me, it's as popular as it can be today because it affects me and you most of all. And today was one of the most dynamic structures. I mean, we were everywhere with these conversations. I didn't feel tired at all this time. So at this point in time, I'm definitely going to say I appreciate every last one of you ladies coming on to this show, giving us your powerful and respectful thoughts on who you are and what you've been through. I know you see as me as a person that I'm not really going to take a lot of stuff out here anymore. I've just had enough. I just had enough. And I'm willing, long as my word has been heard, then I'm happy with it. I'm happy with sacrificing everything I have. I know how to understand and give my child the strong structure that she needs if her father is gone, how we can build each other and make her better. But today, right now, I'm going to say I appreciate you. I adore you, ladies. And once again, let's go ahead and build off of each other. Go ahead and tell us about your business and how your business is going to benefit each person that listens to us talking. And we'll go backwards this time with Miss Michelle. Go ahead and tell us about your business.
Well, my business is
Give me
the
what you
Kingdom.
got.
My business is the Kingdoms Group. The Kingdoms Group consists of Kingdoms Administrative Services, where we help all business owners get started. Or if you already have an established business, we help you with all your administrative needs. And we have Kingdom Travels, where we assist you with all your travel service needs. So if you're a speaker, a coach, a pastor, a CEO, whatever you are, or you do seminars, meetings, conferences, Kingdom Travels is at your service. We're prepared and ready to serve you. And if you're just a person that like to travel, want to take your family or honeymoon, girls trip, men's trip, destination or wedding, we got your back.
Miss Marcella? Still
Hey,
on
I'm
mute.
Marcella,
There you
owner.
go.
Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. If I could say too that I think that we generally don't trust the cops, but they are not all bad. I just wanted to throw that out there. Before I introduce my company, S.E. Rubik LLC, we specialize in business and strategy. We support nonprofits and also for-profit business that serve marginalized population by partnering with them in support of their mission in areas of strategic planning and development programming. And I also am a professional public speaker in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Thank you.
Miss Felice?
Hey there, of
Miss
course.
Jones?
Again, I'm Felicia Jones. I am the owner and founder of Smart Scholars Academy. We are a licensed childcare center in Rocheron, Texas, which is about 20 minutes outside of Houston, Texas, south of the medical center. And I'm also the founder of Smart Scholars Foundation, which is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that supports and enhances the lives of our African American children. We give back to our students in Title I schools. We provide the resources and the means that they need to keep them stable and stabilized in the schools. And then I'm also a licensed Christian counselor. So on top of everything else, that's why I believe in enhancing the lives of our people and not demising them. But at the end of the day, I am here to support our race, our children, and definitely our women.
All right. Last but not least, Miss D.
All right. Hey, y'all, I'm Damali. You can check me out on my blog, Journey with Damali. You can Google that and it'll pop up, Journey with Damali. Also, I'm a part of a nonprofit organization in Houston, Texas that operates in the Fifth Ward neighborhood, which is an underserved neighborhood and a very historical neighborhood. It's where Phyllis Wheatley came from and many others. So what we do in this neighborhood is we do a lot of activities with youth. We have a community garden in one of the low-income, apartment complexes. We do programs with the youth. We actually, in speaking about the subject of interacting with the police, we have an annual teen summit where we do bring together the youth and law enforcement and other community functions like politicians and others, to talk to the kids about what's going on. We did have an opportunity to teach them about how to do traffic stops and stuff like that. So we do all kinds of activities like that. We do food drives, clothing drives, whatever the general support that's needed in the neighborhood. So if you're interested in checking us out, it's Our African Family with the K.org. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
All right, and once again, my name is Mr. Stradivari, the first violin to be ever to be made in music. Stradivari Baynard, Mr. B's Music and Art Store. I actually do virtual music, and I'm also a music teacher, artist, and musician. I'm just bringing to you life and love with these ladies, enjoying their speaking and opening up their great minds to see where their heads are at about men, politics, and basically themselves, and understanding how we live in our lives in this world. And no, all cops are not bad. My Masonic brothers will chew me out, and they chew me out all the time, but they know I'm going to fuss at them about who they are. Like, come on, man, you shouldn't be pulling people over and stuff like that. I always argue with them, so I'm very argumentative, and I'm not afraid to push the button and go to the limit to see if I can actually make it better for us every day. So you're right. I'm not gonna stop to try to push the limits with you ladies. And I will press your buttons every now and then just to see where your heads is at. And I really appreciate you coming on to the Unpopular Opinion. I would like to say goodbye. If you ladies just sip your tea for a second, we'll just say good night.
Good night.
Look at y'all. Good night.